say own and we'll call it like an semblance of a mattress, like a foam board, and you get a brand new mattress from Sleep Train, expect to be treating that mattress a little bit differently than the foam board. For example, you might not even let the dogs sleep with you. You might rotate the sheets with clean sheets more than every couple of months. You might splurge and get some brand new sheets and some pillowcases. It's amazing when it takes care of you, that mattress. You want to take care of it. And when we talk about technology, it is amazing in 2016 that there are people out there. I know. I'm going to say it, and you're going to sit there and go, "You're making that up." There are people out there that have never had a remote control that operates a bed. As far as a movable base.
Wow.
Okay, coin-operated, that other... Okay, we're not headed that direction. We're talking about a remote that affects your mattress in the correct dimension that you want. If you've not had that experience, hey, just go for that sake alone, just go to a Sleep Train near you and fix that pronto.
Head on in, Sleep Train, Corvallis, Albany, Eugene, and Springfield. And when you go in, say, those two guys, they're on that radio thing in the morning, the Bob and Ken show, they sent us. And then take a free test light.
Anything but typical. Anything but cliche. Anything but routine. The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120. KPNW.
I know somebody called you Bob, but there was another name that somebody called me that wasn't even close to Bill.
Oh, you've had a couple of names come your direction over the 7 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've had
it was
a couple
like
of
Dwayne or something
nicknames.
like that. It wasn't a nickname.
Most of them we can't say on the air. Oh, yeah.
This was Bob and something. That was the one that cracked us both up.
Well, you make it seem like it's only happened a couple of times.
It's happened a lot.
Yeah.
Because they are such hard names to remember.
Yeah.
With those 4 letters each and all.
Rababa. Billala. Hey, 6:32. Good morning to you. Welcome in on this. Wow. I don't see any, sunrise. I just see it bright through the trees. Like it. Welcome in. Might be this would be a great time to wake up. Maybe put if you got the, radio headsets, you can kind of take a stroll and we can kind of come with you. You can get your warm beverage, your sassafras tea and your dog and just walk down the street. Maybe, throw some jammies on or, something, but just enjoy the fresh air. Wouldn't it be great to have like a little patio and just kind of open it up and just get a wasp of fresh air? I would love that. Coming up, and I have a feeling...
If we're going to go through that trouble, we're going to put a barbecue out there, and we're going to be grilling steak at this time of the morning.
And no fight from me? That'd be great, too.
Yeah.
Ooh. I have a feeling that as we get into this conversation with the doctor coming up about medical air, I have a feeling there's going to be someone in the family of 15 out there that have experienced such, or maybe a family member, a coworker. Did you ever hear about the book? What was the book called? I think we had the person on. Dead Doctors Don't Lie.
Yeah,
and they were talking about basically how the health profession, as far as doctors that worked tirelessly, and it was dealing with the fact that they weren't taking care of themselves and working themselves basically into the ground. We started a conversation about that, and it parlayed into the whole idea that if you're going to the hospital, you take out a Sharpie and you write on your body,
this is where you're supposed to be cutting.
Yeah, just as a reminder.
Working on.
Because we were, and I think some people weren't talking about their own stories, but things that they had been told, going in for something simple and coming out with, horrific operations.
So when my mom broke her hip.
Oh, no.
Well, seriously, when she broke her hip, the decision was made that they needed to put some pins in. All right. Okay, fine. Well, so pre-surgery, we were having this little meeting, and in particular, I wanted to meet with the anesthesiologist because Mom was very sensitive to anesthesia and painkillers and the like, and the anesthesiologist was wonderful. But the doctor came in and it's like, okay, so we're going to be working on this right hip here, and we're going to be doing this, and this. I'm like, excuse me? Said, well, we're going to be working on the right hip, and we're going to be doing this, and this. And I'm like, well, actually, you're going to be working on the left hip because that's the one that got broken. Oh, okay. Well, we'll be working on the left hip. Okay, well, I'm feeling much better about this.
Well, you hope that. I mean, that was just in the conversation. You'd hope before you go in there and you're, cleaning up that you would get the
right hip.
Well, the consultation, the update. Okay, this is what we're doing today.
Well, yeah, you would hope, but this was the doctor that was going to be doing the surgery.
Right.
I mean, I can just see them going in there. It's like, this doesn't look broken. What's wrong with this? This is a perfectly good thigh for an 86-year-old woman. I don't understand. This is... no, this is not broken.
Some of the conversations we had it wasn't even like the same part. It was like completely different parts of the body that got affected. And going in for my first colonoscopy, I'm sitting there going, so maybe I should just write, on a Post-it and kind of shellac it to, my hip, just to be safe. If you're going in for an operation, you might not want to hear this conversation, but it is something that is going on. To the point
Rob goes in with a little Post-it that says no hysterectomy.
Please. The third leading cause of death in the U.S., if you were to be able to put it into the top 10, would be medical error. That was in 2013. But things have probably changed exponentially. Hi, KPNW. Good morning.
You guys are right on the medical stuff. That's pretty wild.
Okay, cool. Thank you. The Doctor, coming up, 6:37 on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Spring into camping at the RV Corral. New Winnebago trailers from $16,995. New Hideout trailers from $14,995. And the new Cougars from only $21,995. Check out Lane County's best selection of Winnebago Class A's and C's. Allegro by Tiffin, the Sunseeker lineup. And now RV Corral is the new dealer for Fleetwood Motorhomes. New or used toy hauler, trailer, fifth wheel, diesel or gas. Think award-winning RV Corral. Highway 99 or RVCorral.com. Why go anywhere else?
Hi, this is Mike Clark, and I'm running for Eugene Mayor. I'm running because I believe that we need a subtle change in leadership in city government, a course correction of sorts. There are many things that we've done in the last few years that are successful, but there are several big decisions, generational decisions really, that we're going to make over the course of the next couple of years, and we need to make them well. We're going to decide together what manner of thing we'll build on our riverfront. We're going to decide together what our new city hall will be like. We're going to decide perhaps how we finally effectively deal with homelessness in our community. These and so many other issues require someone with the experience of understanding how we got here. I believe I can help. With 10 years of experience on the City Council, I know how to bring common sense, practical solutions to these big questions. If you, like me, feel we need a subtle change, then please vote for me for Eugene Mayor by May 17th.
Authorized and paid for by friends of Mike Clark.
Chipala Mexican restaurant. So good.
Hi, this is Erin. If you're like me, every day gets packed full of business meetings, kids' activities, volunteer commitments, and more. You want to feed your family delicious food, but time seems to get away from you. With two convenient locations, 29th and Willamette and Oakway Center, it's easy to pop in for a tasty dinner with your family or grab a wholesome meal to go. So relax. Chipala's got it covered.
Chipala Mexican restaurant. So good.
What is it about buying a mattress that leaves you feeling violated? Pushy salespeople, fake sales, the walk of shame out of the mattress store? Those days are over. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, co-founder of Helix Sleep, where you can buy a mattress online, customized for you, for hundreds of dollars instead of thousands. Go to helixsleep.com, answer a few simple questions, and we build you the most comfortable mattress you'll ever sleep on. Shipping is free, and you have 100 nights to try it out. Go to helixsleep.com/go and get $50 off your order. That's helixsleep.com/go.
Guys, when you buy your clothes at DXL, you look good. But you feel like a rock star. So if you want to look and feel like a... You'll find all the brands you love, waist size 38 and up, all in one awesome store. DXL, you're looking good. Right now, Harbor Bay tees are just $19.99 each when you buy 2 or more.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. We are tracking some fog off and on out there. Fairly thick on the coast, lighter here in the valley, but expect that to burn off by 10 a.m. Otherwise, mostly clear skies above that fog. We do have temps right now in the upper 40s to low 50s with winds out of the south at 5 to 10. The high pressure that's given us several nice days looks to continue today as the core goes directly over western Oregon. That means the temps will be in the mid-80s to a couple of low 90s down in the southern half of the valley. Mostly clear skies will continue, and the winds will shift to the northwest at 5 to 10 with a few gusts up to 15. Now, the high pressure that's brought this sunny, warm weather looks to continue through Friday afternoon, but once we get late in the day, the high pressure will slide off to the east, allowing a powerful and potent storm system to move in from the southwest. We have a 60% chance of isolated showers and thunderstorms late in the evening on Friday, with a 70% chance of showers off and on throughout the entire day on Saturday. And it's worth noting that temps will be 20 degrees cooler this weekend, with highs back in the mid-60s and mostly cloudy skies right through your weekend. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation, the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day out there.
Holloway in London and the Wake Up Call. News Radio 1120 KPNW.
News Radio 1120 KPNW. Well, if you were listening to the conversation just before the break, it had to do with the third leading cause of death in the United States, and that is, at least in 2013, was medical errors. To talk about this morning, he's a PhD. He's a professor of biomedical informatics at the UT Health Science Center in Houston. Dr. Dean Siddick joining us on the Wake Up Call. Dr. Dean, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it.
Great. It's great to be here.
I mean, this is pretty huge. Particularly considering the fact that when people go to a doctor, they go to the hospital or the like, they're putting all this trust in medical doctors. And when you hear that the third leading cause of death in the United States is caused by doctors, I mean, first things first, what do you think this does of the people's view of just the medical profession in general?
Well, I hope it doesn't scare them away. I mean, that would be the last thing we want to do. I think we have to look at the way this study was created and the way it was done, and remember that there were a lot of unknowns in that study. And so they used some techniques we call extrapolation, where you look at a small study of a few patients, and then you say if this would have happened across the entire United States the same way, we would have seen a huge number of deaths. And that's always a risk whenever you do something like that, because as we know, different parts of the United States are different. Every patient's different. Every physician's different. So I think it's, we should think about this. Medical errors are certainly regrettable and something we want to try to fix, but I don't think people should be afraid to go to the doctor because of this.
But how could they not? I mean, if you consider, if you look at the CDC's numbers, that's, if they're saying that 250,000 Americans die every year from medical errors, that's second behind heart disease and cancer.
I wouldn't say most people are afraid of dying of heart disease, judging by the way they overeat, smoke, and don't exercise. So you got to look at the relative risks here, and certainly lifestyle decisions that patients make are much more of an influence and much more of a cause of death than any medical errors are.
All right, but even so, let's talk a little bit about it. How much of this, of these medical deaths, and we'll just call them that, how much, because of these medical errors, how much of this is caused by, this, I guess we'll just call it the routine of medicine where, for instance, if you go to the doctor's office, the doctor only has like 5 or 6 minutes that they can see you because of the, the way that the insurance payments work or Medicare or something like that. How much of this is caused by doctors rushing just because if they don't, they're not going to, make their nut?
Well, I mean, certainly that's a factor. I mean, I wouldn't, most of us who do research in this area don't really tend to blame the people involved. And so, like you said, that's sort of a systematic error or systematic problem that we cause people to see patients very fast. Most of these mistakes that we're talking about are, one of many mistakes. And so it's very difficult to assign a death to one cause. And so it's much more complicated than the paper or the news headlines are making this out. And I think it's harder to understand, and I don't really think it's something we need to do research on, and certainly there's a lot of us that are working in this area trying to make it safer, but I don't think we're never going to eliminate all death. So you got to remember that the end point is known. It's just a question of how long until we get there.
Okay, well, that's all fine and good, but still, I mean, it's one thing to say, well, you're going to die someday, but it's another thing to say, well, we're in the medical profession and we make a bunch of mistakes and a bunch of people die because of the mistakes. That's a little different than just saying, oh, well, yeah, you're going to die someday. I mean, the whole idea for going in there is not to die, isn't it?
It's certainly not to die now. I mean, like I said, we haven't eliminated all deaths. So if you look at it on a continuum, if you thought that all death was preventable, then you'd be assigning the role of God to the doctor. And if you thought that all death was inevitable, you wouldn't go to the doctor at all. So clearly, we've got to be somewhere in the middle of that. And when a young 17-year-old goes to the hospital for a knee surgery, and there's an error, that is certainly tragic and cause them to die. When a 95-year-old goes in for a cancer surgery and they nick an artery and they bleed to death, that's a different kind of an error. It's certainly regrettable, but it's not the same level of cause and effect, I would guess, is what I would say.
Yeah, but in both cases, it's not the patient's fault. I mean, just because the patient is 95 years old, it doesn't mean that they're the reason that that particular artery was nicked.
No, but you could also blame, the cancer and the old age and all the other things that were contributing factors. If you nick that same artery in a young person, they probably wouldn't die. So sometimes the same error in one person doesn't lead to a death as it does in another person.
Okay, and that's okay. I mean, point made. The other question I would ask here is, I mean, if we're talking about, again, medical error being the third leading cause of death, that would assume that there's quite a few errors. I mean, how many errors have there been that are not causing people to die? And if we're talking about
I would guess the vast majority of errors do not lead to death. I mean, there's studies that show on average maybe every patient would experience one error per day in the hospital, and certainly not every patient is dying in the hospital. So some of these errors, are giving the wrong medication at the wrong time or the wrong dose of the medication or delaying the medication, and hardly any of those lead to death. I mean, there's a few cases where, they give an overdose of a medication and the patient dies, and those are certainly tragic, and we're doing all we can to try to make the whole medication administration process as safe as possible.
Well, are there any tips that you would give folks that, for instance, I mean, an example of this, we just got an email from somebody that took a picture of their leg where they had written on it, "This leg, doc." I mean, are there precautions that you would suggest that people can take where, they can be a little bit preemptive in this at all, other than just writing on their leg, operate on this knee?
Definitely. And I, as someone who's had 3 knee operations, I think writing on your leg that this is the one to operate on is a great thing to do. I mean, I was involved in a project in one city where we were trying to eliminate wrong site surgeries. So we got representatives from all the hospitals together. There are 7 of them. And someone said, I don't think this is a very big problem in our hospital. We put an X on the leg that we're going to do the surgery on, and we haven't had a wrong site surgery in over a year. And the other hospital said, that's interesting because we put an X on the leg that we're not going to operate on. And so this is the kind of systematic problem we're trying to alleviate. And so I think with patients, you've got to ask the physician, this is my right leg you're going to be doing this surgery on. When they come to give you medicine, say, what's that medicine for? How much am I getting? You should be thinking about the medicines that you're supposed to be getting in the hospital. And when they say we're giving you something for your heart, and you say, well, I have a leg problem, then they say, they can say, I must have the wrong patient. So I think that the patients have a tremendous role to play, and mostly you need to pay attention and communicate clearly with your doctors. Some of the research we've done is about abnormal test result reporting, and so a lot of people think that if I don't hear any news at all, it's good news, and we would strongly encourage patients, if they don't hear anything, to call their doctor and find out what happens, because no news is certainly not good news.
All right. Hey, Doc, we appreciate you joining us on the Wake Up Call. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's been great to be here.
Dr. Dean Sittig, he is a professor of biomedical informatics. In other words, they study this stuff at UT Health Science Center in Houston. Off the email, I was talking to my last customer, and we both had the same experience with the insurance company ordering cheaper food after 30 days. Her brother and my daughter were both in comas when they switched the feeding tube formula to a knockoff that they had adverse allergic reactions to. Like my wife, she had to grab the doctor by the neck and show him they were killing the patients to save a little money. That's one thing. That one thing that I learned from the experience with my mom and these just kind of serial doctor's appointments, even if you're young and clear-headed and everything else, if you're going to go in for surgery or a major medical, procedure of some sort, man, you need to have somebody that is there with you to just kind of oversee things and sort of, spot you so you don't fall off the balance beam. You need a spotter for sure, somebody that's there with you. I would hate to be in a situation where I was going in for any type of surgery and just going in on my own without having somebody there that would be there to go, wait a second, what's going on here? What is this? And for folks that have to do that, man, feel bad for them. I mean, even if it's just a neighbor to be there.
I mean, it's good to get somebody that knows your story and knows a little bit more than just a passing acquaintance. But yeah, an advocate in your corner. Absolutely. 6:53, News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Well, if you're a good person with bad credit, here's a special message from Guarantee Discount Chevrolet. Chevrolet? You didn't know they changed the name, did you? Yeah. It's Guarantee Discount Chevrolet now. Anyway, the message is, if you're hardworking and you have been struggling financially and your car breaks down and you're stressed out because you don't know how you're going to pay for a new one, well, see Guarantee Discount Chevrolet, because they have the Good People with Bad Credit program. In 48 hours or less, they can get you into a safe, quality, reliable vehicle. They're going to help you get to work, get to where you need to go with your family, and it's going to help get your credit back in line. So give them a call, 541-998-2333. That's 541-998-2333. It's Guaranteed Discount Chevrolet and the Good People with Bad Credit program.
Our family is outdoors all the time.
We don't sit still very often.
We live in the country.
We're always running to basketball, soccer, games, and practices.
Anything we can do to reduce surprises helps us get through a day.
We want to do what we love, worry-free, and that's where FireMed comes in.
Being FireMed members gave us one less thing to worry about.
So being FireMed members has always made sense to us.
Having FireMed adds a little peace of mind and provides balance to our limited budget.
We FireMed for life on the farm.
We FireMed for family.
We FireMed for financial stability.
We FireMed for anything life brings.
Did you know that for just $65, FireMed covers your household for an entire year? That's less than $6 per month. A single emergency ambulance can cost $1,800, even with good insurance. No wonder more than 30,000 households FireMed. So why do you FireMed? Join today at firemed.org.
We need experienced, ethical, and compassionate leadership on the Board of County Commissioners. We need Pat Farr. As Executive Director of Food for Lane County, Pat Farr fought to feed hungry families. The Register Guard wrote, Farr was, in his own understated way, a passionate and powerful advocate for the needy. Anyone who has ever listened to Farr talk about hungry children in this community could not help but be deeply moved by his conviction and sense of urgency. During the 110th Congress, Pat was recognized on the floor of the United States Senate for having dedicated himself to bettering the lives of Oregonians.
I'm Pat Farr. Our community is at a critical point. With the ever-evolving problems of homelessness, jobs in the economy, public safety, and government transparency. I have 30 years of experience serving this community. I can tackle these problems.
With Farr, you have a candidate that is experienced, qualified, and concerned. By May 17th, vote to re-elect Pat Farr for North Eugene County Commissioner.
Paid for and authorized by the committee to re-elect Pat Farr for County Commissioner.
My dad came to live with us last month, and it's going pretty well. I feel like I never have time for myself. With him being around more, it really lets us catch up on things. His memory isn't what it used to be. We get up and we have coffee. He usually wakes up at 4:30. Then we go for a walk. He needs lots of my attention. I do need to keep an eye on his medications, though. That's important. Sometimes I feel like a pharmacist. I'd say John and the kids are adjusting pretty well. They honestly have no idea what I'm going through. It can be a little challenging, but so far so good. I could really use just a little help.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers for advice, tips, and support. Together, let's help each other better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When I have an asthma attack, I feel scared. I feel like I'm choking.
Prevent your child's next asthma attack. Visit www.noattacks.org or call your doctor, because even one attack is one too many.
I feel like a fish with no water.
Brought to you by the EPA and the Ad Council.
KPNW weather, brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes or you're already out and about, we do have some light fog off and on out there. Otherwise, mostly clear skies. Temps right now are in the upper 40s to low 50s with light winds out of the south at 5 to 10. This afternoon, the high pressure that's given us sunny skies and warm temps looks to continue to dominate across the region. It's going to be another warm one with highs in the mid-80s to a couple of low 90s out there. This afternoon, winds will shift to the northwest at 5 to 10 with a few gusts up to 15. Now, the sunny warm weather looks to continue till Friday afternoon as the high pressure will finally start to pull away to the east, allowing a powerful storm system to move up the coast, bringing a 60% chance of isolated showers and thunderstorms Friday night and knocking the highs down 20 degrees back into the 60s for the weekend with a 70% chance of showers off and on throughout the entire day on Saturday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation, the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are higher in early trading as oil rises this morning and following yesterday's lower Wall Street close. The Dow is up 71 points at 17,781. The S&P 500 is up 8 or 0.4% at 2072, and the Nasdaq is up 17 at 4777. NYMEX crude higher by 1.1% at $46.75 a barrel. Shares of Monsanto are up 11%. Bayer is said to be exploring a potential bid for for its U.S. competitor in a deal that would create the world's largest supplier of seeds and farm chemicals. The German firm has held preliminary discussions internally and with advisors about buying Monsanto, which has a market value of almost $40 billion. Investors are also assessing the latest economic news this morning. More Americans are looking for unemployment aid. Applications for jobless benefits rose last week by 20,000 to 294,000, the highest level since February of 2015. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
We report, you decide. This is News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield, USA.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. As Donald Trump and House Speaker Paul Ryan hold their first face-to-face meeting,
Undocumented! Undocumented!
protesters outside chanting "Undocumented, Unafraid." Fox Radio's Jared Halpern is live at Republican Party headquarters in Washington.
Lisa, the first step in the Republican Party's unification effort, greeted with protests and anti-Donald Trump demonstrations. Inside the RNC, the presumptive GOP nominee had his first face-to-face with House Speaker Paul Ryan and other House Republican leaders since Speaker Ryan said he was not yet ready to offer an endorsement. Ryan has been critical of Trump's proposed Muslim immigration ban and his slow refusal to accept support from white supremacists. Trump also meets today with Senate Republican leaders. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. Trump already signaling last night he'd be willing to back off on his proposal for a temporary Muslim ban. He's also been taking some heat for not releasing tax returns, but says he can't because of an ongoing audit. Hillary Clinton also taking aim at Trump's tax plan.
I'm the only candidate who has run from the very beginning, the only on either side who has said, I will not raise middle-class taxes.
Stumping in New Jersey yesterday as Bernie Sanders was in Montana, arguing he has the momentum to face Trump, even though Clinton is closing in on the needed number of delegates. Trial begins today for the second of 6 officers charged in the police custody death of Freddie Gray in Baltimore. Officer Edward Nero choosing a judge instead of a jury to hear the case after a hung jury in the first officer's trial. This could signal a major change is possible in the Catholic Church. Pope Francis says he's willing to create a commission to study whether women can serve as deacons. Deacons are ordained ministers, but not priests. You're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Fire, ice, hot, cold, why compromise your home comfort? Resolve your heating and cooling issues by contacting Pacific Air Comfort, your local Carrier factory authorized dealer. Turn to the experts to listen to your concerns and analyze why you are uncomfortable in your own home. Their professional staff will explain their good, better, and best solutions, allowing you a solution with quality Carrier products fitting within your budget. Pacific Air Comfort, quality system design, quality Carrier equipment, quality installation, and outstanding 24/7 service and repairs. Visit PacificAirComfort.com. That's PacificAirComfort.com. Or call 541-342-5300. That's 541-342-5300 to receive Pacific Air Comfort's award-winning service today.
Soaring oil prices helping to boost stocks, at least for now. Fox Business Network's Nicole Petalides live at the New York Stock Exchange.
That's right, Lisa. We saw oil move to the highest level of the year, actually the highest since November. It's come off of that level slightly, and now energy is trying to move a little bit lower off that. We're seeing the Dow up 35 at 17,747, trying to hold on to a gain for this week. The NASDAQ is down 9. The S&P 500 is up 3. We have some movers. Ralph Lauren beat the analyst estimates. That's up almost 2%. Kohl's moves to a new low on a revenue decline miss. Apple, GE, Cisco, Pfizer to the downside. Jack in the Box, a winner. Qdoba doing really well, the Mexican chain for Jack in the Box, and that's up 14%. Lisa.
Thanks, Nicole. Oil prices topping $46 a barrel. A former mining company executive convicted in connection with a mining disaster in West Virginia has just lost a bid to remain free while he appeals.
Lawyers for former Massey Energy CEO Don Blankenship were trying to keep him out of a jail cell while the 4th U.S. Circuit Court Court of Appeals considers an appeal of his conviction related to the deadliest U.S. mine explosion in 4 decades. Blankenship was sentenced last month to a year in prison and ordered to pay a $250,000 fine for conspiring to willfully violate mine safety standards. The explosion at West Virginia's Upper Big Branch coal mine killed 29 men in 2010.
Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers. Today's decision by a 3-judge panel comes the same day Blankenship was scheduled to start serving his sentence. A pitching ace ties the major league record.
You're not even going to feel your arm. You just go out there and give everything you got because the fans are right behind you giving everything they got.
The Nationals' Max Scherzer on Masson after striking out 20 batters in a win over the Tigers, his old team. Only Roger Clemens, Kerry Wood, and Randy Johnson have also done it in 9 innings. The defending NBA champion Warriors advance with a Game 5 win over Portland. On the ice, the Blues finish off Dallas in Game 7. Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
News Radio 1120 KPNW. It happens tomorrow. We'll be talking about Shredfest 16 in a couple. Partly cloudy today, though. I see a bunch of sun. 83 for the temperature high. Same thing for tomorrow. Few clouds in between and an overnight low down to 52. A 90% chance of rain. Move it into the forecast Friday night. Saturday, good chance you'll get wet if you're going to be outside. So just plan accordingly. 54 degrees at 1120 KPNW. Happening tomorrow. We're talking about Shredfest 16 to benefit Honor Flight. We've got the iSecure professionals out there pretty much crushing and shredding anything and everything that you can put into 3 standard file boxes per person. 100% secure. It is free, and if you have it in your heart for a little donation, that all goes to the Honor Flight to get them back to their memorials.
A couple of things. One, that includes data CDs and, if you still have floppy disks or whatever that you want to get rid of, that's one of the things that can go through there. And because people, and I've seen them do this, well, no, can I wait until you grind this? And how do I know that they actually have a camera and you can watch the stuff go down the hopper into the grinder that chews all the stuff up into a fine powder. So come on out and watch it work. It's a good deal. 4 to 6, and like I said before, the Honor Flight honorees are going to be out there, a couple of them, and kind of a 1-2 punch because that's what we're doing tomorrow, 4 to 6, and then a week out, 1 week exactly almost, that Friday morning of next week, we got the auction with proceeds benefiting the Honor Flight. We, if you can tell, we're fans. Getting the World War II vets and the Korean War vets back to Washington at no charge to them. Pretty cool. And if you can come out tomorrow, we've had people come out that didn't even bring any boxes or anything to shred. Come out, the more the merrier, at the Green Acres Walmart, not the West 11th. Going to be more centrally located this time, 4 to 6 tomorrow with 1120 KPNW. News coming up. We'll have these stories in just a matter of moments. More fun with Eugene City Hall. Also, there's a new boat check program that's ramping up for your summer boating pleasure. We'll have those stories and more, including a lawsuit dealing with pot products. Does pot kill? Those stories and more ahead, brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones on KPNW. News time 7:08.
Think about all the different types of food we have in the U.S. There's Cajun and Tex-Mex, Northwest cuisine, Southern homestyle, and so on, and each one has a different flair, different staples, and unique dishes. Mexican food is the same way. At Burrito Amigos, you're going to get what's called Baja style. It comes from the northwest corner of Mexico, and a lot of the recipes at Burrito Amigos are family recipes, like the Baja fish tacos with cabbage, white sauce, and real cod. Normally, shrimp burritos at most places are like any other burrito, just with shrimp instead of, say, beef. Well, at Burrito Amigos, their shrimp burritos are also Baja style with the cabbage and the white sauce. You can always taste the difference at Burrito Amigos. And by the way, speaking of Baja style, stop by Burrito Amigos on 24th and Hilliard or on Highway 99 and get coconut shrimp tacos with mango pico de gallo. For the record, yep, tried them, loved them, needed seconds. Always good, always different, always friendly. Burrito Amigos in Eugene and Springfield. I'm Bill London, and I approve this message.
Built for business. In business, time is money. In business, money is also money. No wonder nearly 1,000 businesses choose Comcast Business Internet over DSL from the phone company every single day. Not only is it up to 5 times faster, it's actually a better value when you go with the fastest plan. So take a minute out of your busy schedule and call Comcast Business. It will be well worth your time and your money.
Switch to Comcast Business Internet. Then add voice and TV for just $34.90 a month. And ask about our 2-year price guarantee. Call 800-501-6000 or visit ComcastBusiness.com. Comcast Business. Built for business.
Offer ends 5/31/16. Restrictions apply. Limited to one voice line and private view TV for new customers. 2-year contract required. Requires Comcast Business Internet at an additional monthly charge. Equipment taxes and fees, including broadcast TV fee extra. Savings claim based on cost per megabits per second. Compares Comcast 100 megabits per second and 20 megabits per second DSL downloads.
Now, this morning's wake-up call with the latest news from the Northwest and your neighborhood. On News Radio 1120, KPNW.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed, locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. Well, the mess that is Eugene's future city hall just continues to get messier and uglier. The project hasn't even broken ground, but it has already cost the city over $4.7 million in actual cash payments and will cost another $1.5 million before a shovel has ever touched dirt. Now, while the cost overruns in demolition and engineering fees have residents scratching their heads, a new blow-up has occurred between a city councilor and the city administrator. Outgoing Councilor George Brown penned an op-ed critical of the skyrocketing costs of the City Hall's projected final construction costs, and that the city manager made secret unilateral decisions to upgrade the design of the City Hall, pushing the price through the roof. That decision shoved the project well beyond its authorized budget. In an email, City Manager John Reese admitted that it wasn't a good decision. When quizzed at a city council meeting why he kept the decision a secret for over a year, Reese said, and I'm quoting, "No particular reason." The city council will make a decision this summer on whether to continue with the ever-increasing cost pit and additions to Eugene's yet unbuilt city hall. 2 men were lucky to survive after being thrown into the McKenzie River after their aluminum boat capsized. A quick-thinking resident who saw the near disaster called 911 to alert rescuers. It happened upstream from Riverbend Hospital. Authorities say both men were wearing life jackets and made it safely to shore. Search and rescue teams arrived to aid the men. They say the boat hit a tree that was sticking out of the water. The boat initially capsized, and then it just sunk. The Lane County Sheriff's Office is partnering with Bi-Mart again this year to offer free boat inspections.
Deputies are going to be looking for things like personal flotation devices or life jackets on the boat, navigation lights if they're going to be using their boat in the evening time, sound devices, fire extinguishers if they're required, checking for backfire flame arresters and ventilation fans for motorized boats that have inboard engines, talking about boater education cards and how people can get those.
Sergeant Carrie Carver with the Lane County Sheriff's Office says the first event's going to be taking place on the 14th. That's this Saturday from 11 to 2 at the Cottage Grove Bi-Mart, with more events around the area in coming weeks. Norovirus may be back at the University of Oregon. The nasty but short-duration virus causes symptoms that mimic food poisoning, including violent vomiting, diarrhea, nausea, and stomach cramps. At least 34 students have exhibited symptoms. The university is working with Lane County Public Health to investigate the outbreak. The university said additional cleaning measures are being taken in high-traffic areas. They also suggest people need to be washing their hands more thoroughly and frequently. The bug
is highly contagious. Presumptive Republican nominee Donald Trump went on the record with Greta Sustern on Fox last night, where he discussed the goal for his upcoming meeting with House Speaker Paul Ryan and Republican Chairman Reince Priebus.
I think just unity, and we'll see how it goes, and I think it'll go well. Paul is a good person. I don't know Paul well, and I think that's part of the meeting. We have to get to know. Don't forget, he knew everybody else because they're governors, they're senators. I am a businessman, and I think we want to get to know each other. I think we want to see if we have the same ideas, because I represent a large group of people with very strong ideas and foundations, and I think we want to see a little bit about that. And hopefully it'll work out. We're going to have a very successful campaign. The polls have been, through the roof. In fact, I guess over the last 3 days, they've gone up amazingly. I'm now winning in Ohio and winning in a lot of places. So it's been a very interesting week.
Can you have unity with Speaker Ryan when you have differences on immigration and entitlements, which are very important topics to the Republican Party and to the rest of the nation? And I think probably he thinks you should probably tone it down a bit on your language.
I think you can. I mean, we can always have differences. No matter what you have, you're going to have differences. If you agree on 70%, that's always a lot.
The billionaire business mogul, on the record Wednesday, says that regardless of how the meetings go with Ryan and Priebus, he believes he can still unite the party as a whole. As Oregon develops its rules for edible products containing marijuana, Brad Ford reports a lawsuit in Colorado is seeking to change the way the industry works.
A wrongful death lawsuit is being filed against a Colorado marijuana edibles company, alleging the company didn't warn of the effects of the company's product. The Denver Post reports Richard Kirk ate a Tootsie Roll-sized edible that contained 10 servings of THC. His wife called 911, reporting that he was ranting about the end of the world and climbing in and out of windows. He then shot and killed his wife with their 3 young children in the home at the time. Kirk's attorney says they want to require the industry to warn consumers of the effects and dosages for edibles, which have a delayed and stronger effect than smoking marijuana. Brad Ford, KPNW.
A proposal for Nestle to build a water bottling plant in Cascade Locks is going to be one of the most heated battles in the state's May 17th primary. Measure 1455 asked the voters of surrounding Hood River County to ban the commercial production and transport of bottled water. Nestle says the operation would generate 50 jobs and annual revenues of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Town leaders and a few residents want it, but others are fiercely opposed. The plan has divided the town in the Cascade or in the Columbia River Gorge, which has a 19% unemployment rate. So Cascade Locks is going to be facing a bigger dilemma of generating income without spoiling the jaw-dropping Columbia River Gorge scenery that makes it special. Well, the state of Oregon is breaking another record. According to the Portland Business Journal, the Beaver State brought in $10.6 million in tourism money last year. Travel Oregon said the success came from the 7 Wonders of Oregon campaign that featured the state's scenic landscapes. They said due to its success, they have launched a new campaign, We Like It Here. Catchy. According to Travel Oregon, the state brought in $10.3 billion in 2014, and that was the first time that tourism money reached more than $10 billion. Well, a passenger who authorities say forced an Alaskan Airlines flight to be diverted after he didn't get a beer has pleaded not guilty in Portland to a charge of interfering with a flight crew. A federal indictment unsealed this week says 32-year-old Luke Watts of Portland threatened to become violent if flight attendants didn't serve him a beer during a March flight from Sacramento to Seattle. Assistant U.S. Attorney Benjamin Tolkoff says Watts then locked himself in the bathroom and screamed and pounded on the door. He also demanded hugs from flight attendants. Concerned about the potential for violence, the pilot decided to land in Portland. U.S. Magistrate Judge John Acosta allowed Watts to remain free while awaiting trial. Oregon Congressman Earl Blumenauer is doubling down on efforts to fight the abuse of prescription painkillers and the epidemic of overdose deaths. Brad Ford reports.
On the House floor, Congressman Earl Blumenauer said prescriptions for pain management are rising without easy or effective ways to dispose of leftover medication. Flushing them has environmental costs, and
leaving it in the medicine cabinet is how many people
find drugs to abuse.
He introduced a measure to expand drug disposal and take-back programs.
We're proposing the Safe Drug Disposal Tax Credit.
The tax credit would allow DEA-qualified pharmacies, care facilities, and treatment centers to help pay the costs of starting and maintaining programs. He also plans to offer an amendment to another House bill to allow those programs to qualify for grants from the Department of Justice. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
One of the defendants involved in the armed takeover of an Oregon wildlife refuge has been allowed to represent himself in the case. U.S. District Judge Anna Brown allowed Jason Patrick to be his own lawyer yesterday, but not without questioning his ability to act appropriately without legal counsel guiding him. She appointed Andrew Kolmetz to be his standby attorney. In previous court appearances, Patrick has been scolded for making outbursts and speaking out of turn. The 44-year-old roofer from Georgia is now the third co-defendant in the case to represent himself. A request from a fourth defendant, Dwayne Emmer, is pending. Patrick has pleaded not guilty to conspiracy and weapon charges related to the occupation of the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge earlier this year. Green Hill Humane Society is celebrating their annual Bark in the Park fundraiser this Sunday, but one local group is less than celebratory. That group is No Kill Lane County, and they say that they're going to have a quiet picket at the event.
To let them know what's really going on at Green Hill and what their donations and taxpayer dollars are really supporting.
Tamara Barnes of No Kill Lane County questions the bookkeeping for last year's Bark in the Park.
Last year's Bark in the Park, Green Hill posted that they raised $86,000, but when compared to their IRS 990, they said it was only $65,000.
The fight between Green Hill and No Kill Lane County has been going on for years. Tensions have been building since it was announced that Green Hill would take over the Lane County Animal Shelter in June of 2012. It's 7:20. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
All right, there's a lot to celebrate for those Golden State fans that entered Oracle Arena last night. First, there was the preseason celebration for Steph Curry as he got his MVP trophy with an awkward NBA commissioner, Adam Silver, kind of hosting the affair. Then the MVP went to work. Portland Trailblazers started off great. Again, pretty much in control for the first half, which has been the trend. The Warriors then put the game into overdrive with Klay Thompson throwing out 6 threes, totaling 33 points, although that's scoring in the fourth. That was Steph Curry's job. Damian Lillard finished with 28 points on 7 of 24 thanks to Klay's defense. Warriors move on, winning 125-121. So, many arguments have been conversed. I've been a part of one that Terry Stotts could have and should have been the coach of the year. He was a runner-up to Steve Kerr of Golden State. He might not bring that up, but his agent sure will when he and the Blazers talk a contract extension for the coach. After what he did this year, expect a long-term deal with plenty of zeros. In Toronto, DeMar DeRozan and the Toronto Raptors took Game 5, pretty much did in the Heat. Miami Heat goes down. DeRozan matched a playoff high with 34, and the Raptors now take a 3-2 series lead. Baseball's big story last night, you heard it top of the news. Washington Nationals pitcher Max Scherzer with 20 strikeouts against the Detroit Tigers. He didn't walk a batter, allowed 6 hits. He got his 4th win of the year, Nats win, barely 3-2. Civil War baseball happening tomorrow in Corvallis, happening all weekend, in fact. And both teams not having the year that they were hoping for, as both were in the top 10, but not now. The Beavers and the Ducks are both a part of a 5-way tie for 5th at 10-11, and yet they're still in it to win it. There are 3 weekends left in the regular season, and a lot can happen. Game 1 tomorrow night. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW, brought to you by Max Muscle. Stop in and check out the Max Pro Protein Powder lineup. Chocolate malt, blueberry, strawberry, banana. On Franklin, across from Market of Choice, News Time, 723.
KPNW weather, brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. We are tracking some fog off and on out there. Fairly thick on the coast, lighter here in the valley, but I expect that to burn off by 10 a.m. Otherwise, mostly clear skies above that fog. We do have temps right now in the upper 40s to low 50s with winds out of the south at 5 to 10. The high pressure that's given us several nice days looks to continue today as the core goes directly over western Oregon. That means the temps will be in the mid-80s to a couple of low 90s down in the southern half of the valley. Mostly clear skies will continue, and the winds will shift to the northwest at 5 to 10 with a few gusts up to 15. Now, the high pressure that's brought this sunny, warm weather looks to continue through Friday afternoon, but once we get late in the day, the high pressure will slide off to the east, allowing a powerful and potent storm system to move in from the southwest. We have a 60% chance of isolated showers and thunderstorms late in the evening on Friday, with a 70% chance of showers off and on throughout the entire day on Saturday. And it's worth noting that temps will be 20 degrees cooler this weekend, with highs back in the mid-60s and mostly cloudy skies right through your weekend. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation, the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day out there.
Ramjack leads the way in foundation repair. Protect your investment. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com. Check out our exceptional online reviews, then choose Ramjack.
CCB 146906.
Hi, everybody. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute, brought to you by Builders Electric, providing smart electrical service since 1960.
Do you know anyone who thinks they're better than others? Do they give you the impression that they know it all and don't need to listen to you or anyone else? Well, I once heard this comment: a chip on the shoulder is often a piece of wood that's fallen from the head. So perhaps those people who know it all are nothing more than blockheads. Who knows for sure? We do know, however, that when they don't listen to others or they think they're perfect, there's definitely a block there. So don't be one of the blockheads. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a positive day.
Today's Motivational Minute was sponsored by the folks at Builders Electric, a company that can handle all your electrical needs at home or your business with smart, positive service. That's Builders Electric.
Get set to save now at Mid-Valley Tractor, your local Kubota dealer. Take command of your lawn care needs with a new Kubota Commander zero-turn mower. Get commercial-grade performance and a full 4-year factory warranty at a price you can afford. Now during the Get Set to Save sales event, get a special introductory price of $38.99 and 0 down and 0% financing for 36 months. Now through June 30, 2016. Call toll-free 1-800-794-4992 for details about cost and terms. Great prices, great products from people you can trust. Mid-Valley Tractor on Highway 99.
Where's your finish line? Set a goal, make a plan, get results. Max Muscle offers customized nutrition plans by a certified nutritionist. Learn what and how much food to eat, when to eat, and how it relates to your body. Stop into Max Muscle today, Franklin Boulevard, across from the Market of Choice.
Hi, this is Mike Clark, and I'm running for Eugene Mayor. I'm running because I believe that we need a subtle change in leadership in city government, a course correction of sorts. There are many things that we've done in the last few years that are successful. But there are several big decisions, generational decisions really, that we're going to make over the course of the next couple of years, and we need to make them well. We're going to decide together what manner of thing we'll build on our riverfront. We're going to decide together what our new city hall will be like. We're going to decide perhaps how we finally effectively deal with homelessness in our community. These and so many other issues require someone with the experience of understanding how we got here. I believe I can help. With 10 years of experience on the City Council, I know how to bring common sense, practical solutions to these big questions. If you, like me, feel we need a subtle change, then please vote for me for Eugene Mayor by May 17th.
Authorized and paid for by friends of Mike Clark.
I was just thinking, that Sleep Train, I think, needs to be in charge of building the new City Hall. Now, I know you're saying, wait a minute, Sleep Train, the place that the mattress place? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first off, if you listen to the news this morning, you heard that the price of the City Hall is going through the roof in Eugene. Well, Sleep Train guarantees they'll beat anybody's price by 5%, so automatically they're going to bring the price down. And then they actually have experts that talk to you about what it is that you're purchasing. Unlike the city manager who just makes decisions and then doesn't say anything for a year to anybody. I'm thinking, you could start going down this analogy, and there's a lot of reasons that Sleep Train needs to be in charge of the new Eugene City Hall.
But seeing as how they aren't, and they do specialize in mattresses, I think you need to head on in there and maybe take a test lay or two. Find the mattress that works for you, pick it up. Actually, you don't have to pick it up. Tell them to pick it up. They'll do it. They'll pick it up, and they'll deliver it to your house for you. Set it up, and take your old mattress and box springs away so you don't have to deal with them anymore. Pretty cool.
Superior service, best selection, lowest price guaranteed. Not just cliches. It's actually their mantra there at Sleep Train in Eugene, Springfield, Corvallis, and Salem. And tell them you like this with the Wake Up Call.
Holloway in London.
Why are you torturing me?
On News Radio 1120 KPNW.
729. The Oregon Air and Space Museum. It's for everybody, not just Eugene, but it's been a part of the environment here since 1986. And the current president, one of the original reasons and founders, we even have an Oregon Air and Space Museum. Bruce Lamont joining us on the Wake Up Call. Bruce, or do we call you Mr. President? Your Excellency.
Just don't call me late for dinner.
Okay. All right. Welcome to the...
Good morning.
We were just talking about this. You haven't been in. We've talked about the museum for years, and you've given us the big stiff arm. Why?
Well, I just try to stay in the background and get things done.
Oh, okay. You're a doer.
Hopefully.
Okay. Hey, you got a very cool kind of announcement that we can kind of start things out with.
Well, recently we were lucky enough to acquire a very unique aircraft that's going to be on display at the museum. It's a 1937 Taylor E-2 Cub, and if you're thinking, oh, wait a minute, didn't Piper make Cubs? Yes, they did, but Taylor made them first. And they only made Taylor Cubs for, I think, a little less than a year before Piper took over the Cub. This particular Taylor E-2 Cub has been restored. It's in beautiful condition. And the really neat thing about this airplane is this is the exact airplane that Major General Marion Carl soloed in Corvallis. So this is part of our new Marion Carl display that we're putting together at the present time.
How do you get your hands on this? I mean, how's the story? How do you even get access to it?
Well, a number of months ago, I got a call from a gentleman in Roseburg, and in Roseburg, they've had the Marion Carl Foundation, and they had got this airplane a number of years ago, had it restored, and they were looking for a home for it to be displayed. And they called us and wanted to know if we were interested, and we said, yes, we are. And they came up and talked to us and looked at the museum, and long story short, we, about 7 weeks ago, we went down to Roseburg and loaded it on a trailer and brought it up to Eugene.
So where in the museum is it? Because I'm trying to figure out, where you've got room to put that in there. Where are you putting it?
Room is an interesting word. Yes. Well, where we're going to put it is if you remember in the museum when you come into the main building, walk through the doors. On the left, we've had a very interesting airplane. It was a Chinese airplane called the Simon, and that took quite a bit of area. And we're going to move that into the back hangar, and right there, as you walk in the door, that's going to be probably the first thing you see is where we're going to be putting the Marion Carl exhibit.
So you don't actually have it in there yet?
It's sitting in the back because we haven't had a chance to put it together. After our event Sunday, which we have to move all the airplanes out of the main hangar for, when we put things back together, things are going to get shuffled.
See, I think you should leave the planes in there for the dance.
Well, because
that would make it, everybody have to get together and kind of
That's true. We've got that little aisleway that kind of goes around the center exhibit, and everybody could be just dancing around the aisleway. I'm not quite sure where we'd put the band, but we'd have
details.
Yeah, details. There you go.
So okay, so when do you expect the plane to be able to be a part of the soiree?
I'm hoping within 45 days. We are collecting things right now. One of our people called me yesterday and said that we had gotten a call from Roseburg, and we do have we've been looking for one of his uniforms, and so we can put it on a mannequin and put it next to the plane. And we do supposedly have a uniform coming now. So little things like that. We've got some great photos, and there's some other things that'll go into the exhibit, and to honor a very great American, a great Oregonian. You know, I couldn't be happier to have this at the museum.
For folks that don't know, you know, it's weird because I think that there's a lot of people here in Eugene that don't even know we have an aviation museum. For folks that don't know, I mean, where is it located? You know, what are the usual hours? How much does it cost to get in? All of that stuff.
We are located at the south end of the Eugene Airport at 90377 Boeing Drive. And if you can find the airport, you can find us. We started out having a meeting in 1986. I think we incorporated in 88, and we built our first facility in 1991. And we've been out there ever since. And we put on a number of events out there. We were the sponsor of the 2000 Air Show out there, where we brought the snowbirds in. So it's we're not the biggest museum in the state, but we were one of the first, and we've got some very unique items. We've got an A6 intruder. We've got
That's so cool.
It is, and the coolest thing about that is that they flew it in and delivered it to us. They brought it up from Fallon, Nevada, and it's a low mile one owner. You know, it's only been flown to church on Sunday. You know, it's a very unique airplane. In fact, we had some guys from the intruder group stop by and said it is probably one of the few in captivity that could ever be made flyable again, though it probably won't. But they came up here just to look at it, and which I thought was neat.
I'm trying to remember. My son and I did the tour. It's been a while. I think about 3 or 4 years ago. And I can't remember, was that the aircraft that you had the engine pulled out of that they were working on? That was on they had like an engine pulled out on a counter or something that was pulled apart.
No, the intruder's in the back hangar, and it's the one with the wings folded. And
okay,
you might have been thinking about the A4 Skyhawk.
That's the one.
Which is you know, that particular Skyhawk I think was in Vietnam, and the A4 is one of my favorite little airplanes because for a jet they're just a little hot rod. So for those of you who have watched Top Gun 400 times like I have,
30th anniversary.
There you go.
Right now.
The A4 is the plane that the instructors flew when they were messing with Tom Cruise. So they're a very neat little airplane.
Talking to Bruce Lamont, who's the president of the Oregon and the Oregon Air and Space Museum. I'm curious because you're one of the founders. Where did your love? I mean, where does this come from? That you were one of the originals?
My dad. It all comes from my dad, George Lamont. He also is one of the founders, and I flew with him when I was a little kid, and grew up flying with him, and finally got my own pilot's license. And he and I were partners in a military trainer that we flew around for years and stuff, and that's where it all comes from.
What was the discussion when you realized we want to do this museum?
Well, it was interesting. We were all members of another organization, and it was Dr. Robert Furr, Dwayne Braley, George Lamont, and myself, and it wasn't going where we wanted it to go, and so we all decided we were just going to meet for lunch, and we did, and we just talked about it and said, let's do it. And that's where it all started. It was just that simple.
To echo what Bill was saying, as far as people not knowing, I talked to an aviation nut who was, and I brought up the Air and Space Museum, and he said, "Oh, you know what? I haven't made it up to McMinnville yet." And I said, "It's here at Mainland Suite." Who typically? I mean, when you look at the people that come check you out, and even on a regular basis, who are our people that are filing through?
We have people from all over the world come. It's interesting. I mean, last fall, we had a group of 8 or 9 men come through, and they were all from Great Britain. and they were hitting they were all airplane nuts, and
coming here specifically to see it.
Yes, yeah, they came here to town to see it, and from here they went north to McMinnville, but they wanted to see it, and they'd read about us online and different things, and wanted to see some of the exhibits we had, and you know, so the old saying, we're the best kept secret in town, and that's probably true to a certain point, but most aviation people know about us. We've got a lot of different things. You know, the biggest thing too is to get the kids out there to try to get them interested in aviation, and you know, when we first started, we were the Oregon Air Museum, and a few years later we changed our name to the Oregon Air and Space Museum because we wanted to let people know that we encompassed that as well. And we do have some pretty unique models of spacecraft and different things that were professionally made that we've gotten from folks over the years, and some different space exhibits. And we've been lucky enough to have some events and have people like Wally Schirra be one of our guest speakers and different things over the years. So catering to today's youth and getting them interested in space and aviation is probably our most important mission.
You know, Rob alluded to the museum up in McMinnville, the Evergreen. You know, they may have the spruce goose and they may have a Black Hawk up there, but what they don't have is a homemade helicopter powered by a motorcycle engine, which when I saw that, was like, okay, that guy was crazy and a genius. Did that thing ever make it off the ground?
Well, there's some interesting stories about that thing. And if you guys remember when you were kids, I mean, when I was a kid, I used to read Popular Mechanics and things like that. Okay, in the back, for I think $2 or $3, you could order the plans for that helicopter. It's called the Benson Hobbycopter. And you could see there's a little ad, and for X amount of dollars, which was very little, you could send away and get the plans for that thing. And then you got it and you built it. And we, next to it out there, we've got on a storyboard, we've got a set of those plans, and it shows you taking part of a motorcycle frame and a motorcycle engine and you put it together. And we acquired that in 1989, and the story behind it is that a guy in Roseburg built it, didn't know anything about flying a helicopter, and he put it together and he got it started. And
is he still with us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. His one attempt at flying it, he almost hit his house. Yeah, he was trying to hover it in the front yard, which anybody who flies a helicopter will tell you that hovering it is the hardest thing there is to do. And he came close to hitting his house. They finally got it shut off. His wife told him if he ever got on it again, she was leaving. And it got given away. And you know, that's what we know about it.
So the answer is yes, it did.
Yes, it did.
But just one time.
And the guy actually survived it. And I don't know, when I was a kid, you know, British bikes, they had a Lucas Electrical Systems. And the joke always was, why do the Brits drink warm beers? Because Lucas also builds refrigerators. And so the thing about 50s British motorcycles is you pushed them as much as you rode them. And so that engine is probably about a 52 or 53 Triumph Thunderbird motor. And so the idea of being off the ground with that as your power plant is almost suicidal.
Well, see, here's what I find amazing is, all right, so this guy got his plans out of the back of a comic book, sends off for the things. Somebody somewhere, you know, had to come up with those plans, and they likely sold many of those plans, and there is a possibility that there are a number of those helicopters out in garages and barns and everything else that people actually tried to build. Do you know of other instances where people made those things?
No, I have never seen another one, but you gotta think they sold thousands and thousands of those. You know, most people just probably took thumbtacks and put them up on the wall and said, someday I want to do that, and never did. But yeah, there's got to be more of them out there.
And the amazing thing is that the FAA didn't come along at one point and go, you really can't be doing this. I guess you can sell the plans, but there should be maybe some sort of little disclaimer. By the way, you need to get this licensed before you go taking it for a flight in your front lawn.
Well, and the FAA does have a program to do that.
Yeah, it's the experimental aircraft program.
Experimental aircraft, and that's where it would come under. But those do have to be inspected as they're being built to make sure that what you're doing is safe and that you're doing quality work on them. That thing
would that have passed?
I don't think so.
It has a chair on it that looks like it was out of about a third-grade classroom circa 1970.
Well, it's funny you should mention the seat because I can remember those plastic seats. Those were big in the 60s and the early 70s. You go down to, the discount store and buy those chairs, and that's exactly what it is. It's seat out of one of those plastic chairs and just bolted to the frame. It's pretty cool, actually.
You guys have some fascinating stuff down there. The helicopter was the one. I stood there for half an hour just staring at that thinking, would I? Yeah, probably.
Only if you got your life insurance paid up.
Right. And the little mini jet that you have, like the one that was in the James Bond movie, I just fell in love with that thing.
Well, we had the unique opportunity a number of years ago. There was a fellow living in town by the name of Bobby Bishop. And Bobby Bishop is probably the highest time jet pilot for flying those BD jets. And if you guys remember, back in the 90s, we had the Coors Silver Bullet team. Mm-hmm. And that's what they flew, the BD-5 mini jets. And Bobby Bishop was the lead in the Coors team. And he walked in, this was the mid-90s, late 90s. He walked into the museum one day and said, "Hi, I'm Bobby Bishop," and introduced himself and handed us a picture of his jet and said, "Would you guys like to have this on display?" And we said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, it was winter." He says, "I'm looking for a place to put it this winter." So he brought it in, and we had it all winter. And it was probably one of the favorites for people coming in because, you look at that. And if you've seen the Bond movie, and you've seen him landing on the road and, pulling up to the gas station, says, fill it up, which unless they had jet fuel, it wasn't really practical. But so that's where we kind of got the interest in that. Fast forward a number of years, and we get a phone call from a friend of mine in Portland saying, "I got a guy that's got a little BD-5 that he wants to donate to a museum. Are you guys interested?" And I said, "Oh, yeah." So that airplane came to the museum, and I just love the fact that we've got it because that BD jet inspired so many people. I mean, it was for anybody who ever wanted to be a jet pilot. There you go. You got something that you can build in your garage, and you can be a jet pilot. They fly like a lawn dart, but it's just a great idea. And the interesting thing Bishop told me one time, I said, "You can't put enough fuel in that to go anywhere." And he says, "You're fuel critical from the time you take off." and he says, you got, depending on your throttle settings, you've got 45 to 50 minutes of fuel on board. And he says, you plan what you're going to do, you go do it, and you make sure you get it on the ground because there's so little wing there. If you run, you're going to glide like a rock. And so you've got to be on the ground.
Yeah. I don't know. It sounds like you're going to need to expand. You got so many things right now kind of packed in there. You're going to need another building pretty soon.
Yeah, you're right about that. We are getting pretty tight on space, and when we bring something in, we've got to figure out where it's going to go so we can put something somewhere else. But it's been a labor of love all these years, so it's a wonderful thing to be associated with.
Talk about the event coming up this weekend.
Yeah,
this weekend, Sunday afternoon from 2 to 4, we're having our spring dance. This is Blue Skies is our band, and that's the big band sound of the 40s and 50s. The Jewel Tones will be singing, and we've got a kind of a special thing coming on. We're going to have a demonstration by the Eugene Youth Ballet, and so the kids are going to come in and dance for us, which I think is just going to be a treat. And this is a fundraiser for the museum. We do this twice a year. We have a spring dance and a fall dance, and Blue Skies is always our band. They're fabulous.
I believe this will be the first appearance out there after the death of Mr. Bryant.
Yes, it is.
So we have somebody taking over. Dearly missed. Used to have him come in and talk about the event, and you could tell his passion for the music and the band and also for the museum.
He's a wonderful man.
Yeah.
Yeah, great guy. So,
how do people get tickets?
We'll be selling tickets at the door.
At the door, okay.
And come on out. It's $10 a head. And it's you will have a good time. I mean, if you like
fun.
big band music and
You can't beat the venue for big band's music.
No,
I mean that's awesome.
It is, and it's always a good time. And like I say, we've been doing these for a number of years, and it's funny because you see a number of the same people come out every time because they love the music and they like to support the museum, and it's just wonderful. You make a lot of new friends.
All right.
Bruce, thank you so much for coming in. Is there a website people can check out?
Yeah, Oregon Air and Space Museum. I think it's oasm.org.
Okay.
And hit the space, or if you need more information, just call the museum, 541-461-1101.
Bruce, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
President of the Oregon Air and Space Museum on the Wake Up Call, 749, News Radio 1120, KPNW.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are trying for a modest comeback after Wednesday's sell-off. The Dow up just 20 points, the Nasdaq down 10, and the S&P up a point. Macy's helped drag down retail stocks after its weak results, and another mall retailer is painting an ugly picture of the nation's shopping malls this morning. An unexpected drop in comparable store sales at Kohl's propelled profit 87% lower in the last quarter. For the second straight week, new jobless claims have taken a bigger jump than expected. The Labor Department says 294,000 people signed up for unemployment for the first time last week, a jump of 20,000, and the most since February 2015. Economists surveyed by Bloomberg had expected only 270,000 new claims. Shares of Monsanto are surging 9% on word that German chemical giants BASF and Bayer are mulling a takeover. Bloomberg reports Bayer's exploring a $40 billion bid. I'm Adrienne Mitchell, Bloomberg Radio.
Pacific Continental Bank is proud to call the Eugene-Springfield area home for more than 40 years. As your local banker, partner, and neighbor, we are committed to the health and sustainability of your business and our community. We know it takes more than a loan or deposit to help you succeed. It takes people who know you, your business, and your community. Who says we can't be more than a bank? Pacific Continental Bank, the right bank. Learn more at therightbank.com. Member FDIC.
Warmer weather is coming. You may be ready, but is your vehicle? Midlane Truck and Equipment Repair can perform a complete inspection of your cooling and air conditioning system to ensure you and your vehicle stay cool when it gets hot out. Offering bumper-to-bumper service and repair on trucks, RVs, autos, and trailers, including general maintenance, in-frame overhauls, welding, fabricating, liftgate, and reefer repair. Call Midlane Truck and Equipment Repair now to beat the heat.
If you're considering going back to school, ask yourself the following questions. Do you need the flexibility to take classes on your schedule? Do you have college credits you need transferred? Do you want to earn a quality degree from a world-renowned university? If you answered yes to any of these questions, Arizona State University is the perfect school for you. Arizona State University offers over 100 highly ranked degree programs 100% online. You'll earn the same degree as you would on campus, from wherever you are, on your schedule. Plus, ASU Online accepts most transfer credits. For information, call 1-800-400-1942. Learn for yourself why the Wall Street Journal ranks ASU 5th in the nation for producing the best qualified graduates, and why 90% of ASU grads are recruited within 90 days of graduation. Learn to grow, learn to succeed, and learn to thrive at Arizona State University. To learn more about ASU online degrees, call 1-800-400-1942. That's 1-800-400-1942.
KPNW weather, brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes or you're already out and about, we do have some light fog off and on out there. Otherwise, mostly clear skies. Temps right now are in the upper 40s to low 50s with light winds out of the south at 5 to 10. This afternoon, the high pressure that's given us sunny skies and warm temps looks to continue to dominate across the region. It's going to be another warm one with highs in the mid-80s to a couple of low 90s out there. This afternoon, winds will shift to the northwest at 5 to 10 with a few gusts up to 15. Now, the sunny warm weather looks to continue till Friday afternoon as the high pressure will finally start to pull away to the east, allowing a powerful storm system to move up the coast, bringing a 60% chance of isolated showers and thunderstorms Friday night and knocking the highs down 20 degrees back into the 60s for the weekend with a 70% chance of showers off and on throughout the entire day on Saturday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation, the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
Sid Lycan knows how to overcome challenges and find the solutions.
He just has such a heart for the community and for people.
We need someone who can come in on day one and take charge.
Sid has a small business background, and he understands what has to happen to move the economy forward.
He's been extremely effective locally, first as a mayor, then as a county commissioner.
He brought over $1 billion worth of private sector money.
Better economy for the citizens in our community, and it gave them the hope that they could raise a family.
When I was first elected to the Lane County Board of Commissioners, we streamlined. We went from 14 departments to 9. We went from 7 separate health care plans to 2. We've been able to save millions of dollars on an annual basis because of that.
I proudly support.
And I stand proudly behind Sid Lycan.
Sid Lycan.
Sid Lycan for Secretary of State.
I'm Sid Lycan, and I'm running to be your next Secretary of State, and I need your support. Thanks.
Paid for and authorized by Sid Lycan for Oregon.
I need to find a happy story right now.
Holloway in London. You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity.
Wayne County's wake-up call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Keep District Attorney Patty Perlow fighting to protect you. As District Attorney, Patty Perlow fights crimes and saves taxpayers' money by winning grants to safeguard U of O students, to test untested rape kits, to enforce child support decisions, and to protect victims and witnesses. District Attorney Patty Perlow is fair and honest. That's why Patty Perlow has won support across the political spectrum. The Register Guard called Patty Perlow the clear choice and the real reform candidate. The Eugene Weekly called the election a no-brainer. Patty Perlow has also been endorsed by the Safety and Justice Action Fund, the Lane County Peace Officers Association, the Eugene Police Employees Association, the Springfield Police Officers Association, and Lane County Sheriff Byron Trapp.
I'm Lane County Sheriff Byron Trapp. I need Patty Perlow in the District Attorney's Office to continue her important work for our community and law enforcement.
Paid for by Keep District Attorney Patty Perlow Committee.
Message and data rates may apply.
Hey guys, ever wonder why getting into shape isn't as easy as it was when you were 25? Well, it's not your fault, it's Mother Nature's. Because once you hit 45, your body has less youth-boosting free testosterone, and that can make it harder to get into shape. That's why you need Nugenix. Nugenix is a unique man-boosting formula powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help boost your free testosterone levels. Nugenix helps you feel stronger and more energetic, more passionate too. Get a complimentary bottle now by texting STRONG to 99000. Nugenix is so effective it won GNC's Innovative Product of the Year and was also named GNC's #1 selling men's vitality product. Get yourself back into shape and be more the man you want to be with award-winning Nugenix. Nugenix is available at many fine retailers, but you can only get your complimentary bottle by texting STRONG to 99000. Again, text STRONG to 99000.
Is your body getting enough protein every day? Try Max Pro at Max Muscle. These protein shakes are packed with protein, very low carbs, and zero sugar. Chocolate malt, strawberry banana smoothie, blueberry, and more. Max Muscle. Try it before you buy it. Franklin Boulevard, across from the Market of Choice.
We asked kids what it took to be a dad. This is what they had to say.
A father is always present. I mean, what real father figure can you have if they're not there?
In order to be a good dad, you need to love your son. You need to put gas in your car so you don't break down in the middle of nowhere. And you need to make them breakfast. Yep.
I mean, just to maybe play like a board game with me, or to just stay home and play some video games with me. Just to do like that one little thing is what I really look forward to.
I'm not asking him to be a perfect dad, but he should try. a constant force in my life.
There's no other type of love like a dad's love because it's not comparable to anything else.
Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks opened with gains, but they've all but slipped away. The Dow up just 8 points, the Nasdaq down 13, and the S&P up a fraction as another retailer reports dismal quarterly results. Kohl's saw same-store sales fall nearly 4% instead of rising slightly as expected following Macy's week results on Wednesday. Kohl's shares falling 10%. For a second straight week, new applications for unemployment benefits unexpectedly jumped. Initial claims rose by 20,000 to a new 14-month high, 294,000. The Labor Department also reports the average of new claims over the past 4 weeks shot up by more than 10,000. Walmart, the world's biggest brick-and-mortar retailer, is stepping up its efforts to compete with Amazon, the nation's biggest e-tailer. Walmart is testing a 2-day shipping subscription service that mirrors Amazon's successful Prime program. Members of Shopping Pass will get free 2-day shipping for $49 a year. I'm Adrienne Mitchell, Bloomberg Radio.
Buying a shaver, and it's just a cheap piece of plastic. Harry's.com was started by two guys. Does it really take an act of Congress to get some common sense out of the FDA when it comes to life-saving drugs? I'm Lars Larson with the Northwest Report's commentary in just a moment. Have you ever thought about all the money you spend at the pharmacy buying a shaver, and it's just a cheap piece of plastic? Harry's.
Depend on us for breaking news from the local neighborhood to the global one. We are News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. Donald Trump just wrapping up his second meeting of the day with Republican Party leaders, laying possible groundwork for party unity. Fox Radio's Jared Halpern is live at RNC headquarters in Washington.
Republican National Committee Chairman Reince Priebus describes that first face-to-face meeting between House Speaker Paul Ryan and Donald Trump in years as great, a very positive step toward party unity. Sources inside that meeting say the House Speaker and the presumptive nominee discussed policy issues and what's important to each other, but it's not yet clear if the one meeting will be enough for Ryan to endorse Trump. Yesterday, Ryan said unifying the Republican Party will take real work. Later, Trump will have a sit-down with Senate GOP leaders. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. Brazil's president is now suspended and says opponents are out to get her. In a national address, President Dilma Rousseff vowing to fight her impeachment by all legal means. The Senate vote to impeach over corruption allegations sets up a trial and puts the vice president in charge for up to 6 months. State health officials in Massachusetts say they will carefully review the case of a man who fatally stabbed 2 people and injured several others before he was shot and killed by an off-duty police officer. All of this only hours after he'd been released from a hospital. Morton Hospital in Taunton says the state policy that governs the way it handles psychiatric patients is misguided. Walmart takes on Amazon Prime, offering free 2-day shipping for less.
Walmart will work with regional companies to get the packages to you. Last year, Walmart began experimenting with 3-day shipping for members who pay an annual fee.
Fox's Ginny Kosola, the annual fee for Walmart's 2-day shipping is about half the price of Amazon's, but Amazon's does come with some perks, including streaming movies. You're listening to Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
This tip of the week brought to you by Neurospine Institute.
Get up and get moving. Back pain is more common among people who are out of shape, especially weekend warriors who engage in vigorous activity after sitting all week. Regular moderate exercise like walking on your lunch break is more beneficial and the risk of injury is reduced significantly. Being overweight in the midsection shifts your center of gravity forward and puts additional strain on your back muscles. Pilates and other core strengthening activities improve balance and increase stability. Check with a medical professional before starting a new exercise program and practice proper conditioning. Start out slow and build up your endurance.
Are you living with chronic chronic pain, the specialists at Neurospine Institute can diagnose the problem and develop a personalized treatment plan to address your symptoms. Their comprehensive services include clinical and surgical procedures, sports medicine, physical therapy, medical imaging, and pain management. Neurospine Institute's medical professionals will work closely with your primary care or referring physician to ensure that you receive the best care and treatment. They serve all of Western Oregon with 2 locations, the main campus in Eugene and their Roseburg clinic. Visit neurospinellc.com today and get your life back.
FBI chief says ISIS inspiring homegrown threats is still a concern, but some of the latest numbers are encouraging. Fox Radio's John Decker live at the White House.
FBI Director James Comey told reporters that ISIS is finding it more difficult to recruit new members from the U.S. Comey said that between 6 and 10 Americans a month in 2014 and the first half of 2015 traveled to the Middle East or tried to go there to join ISIS. However, that number has dwindled down to 1 per month since last summer. Comey didn't say why there was a downturn, but the FBI has worked aggressively in the last year to identify and intercept Americans who wanted to reach Syria. Lisa?
John, twin suicide bombings on a police station outside Baghdad, killing at least 5 officers a day after a trio of ISIS bombings killed at least 93 in the Iraqi capital. A Texas judge tells the so-called affluenza teen he can't get out of jail early, ordered to serve a 2-year sentence for violating probation in a murder case.
Texas teenager Ethan Couch was once sentenced to only probation for killing 4 people in a drunk driving crash when he was 16 years old. His lawyer argued Couch suffered from affluenza, an emotional immaturity peculiar to teens of affluent families and bad parenting. But then Couch, at age 19, and his mother fled to Mexico, a violation of that probation. The judge then ordered him spend 180 days in jail for each of his 4 victims. And despite an appeal, the judge now says he's not changing his mind. A hearing on the matter scheduled for next week has been canceled. Eben Brown, Fox News.
The gunman acquitted of murder in the killing of Florida teen Trayvon Martin is selling the gun in an online auction.
I thought it's time to move past the firearm. And if I sell it and it sells, I move past it.
George Zimmerman says he recently got the gun back from the Justice Department. Stocks turning lower. The Dow's down 37 points. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
Good morning to you on a beautiful Thursday, 11:20 KPNW. A little bit of cloud cover there, but other than that, some good-looking sunny conditions today. High of 83, only 82 tomorrow, and then rain coming in tomorrow night. Just so you know. Just so you know. Currently, call it 63 degrees at 11:20 KPNW. Honor Flight Shred Fest happening tomorrow, 4 to 6. Going to be at the Walmart Green Acres. Already got an email about somebody thinking about it being in West Eugene. Erase. We're going to be at the Green Acres, a little bit more centrally located. So if you're in Springfield or you're coming from downtown, you don't got that far to go. You're out there to the Delta Oaks Green Acres Walmart tomorrow, 4 to 6 for a free event. Shredding, iSecure will be pretty much anything that you can get in your file box. You're up to 3 file boxes each person can bring in there, and if you have a donation in you to get to Honor Flight, brilliant. Would appreciate that. Happening tomorrow, Shredfest, Walmart, Green Acres, Central, not West Eugene, and we'll be talking about that as we get ready tomorrow morning for the big Honor Flight appearance. We'll have, I think, 3. Mr. Punjakar talking about 3 of the honorees coming out there to say hey to everybody. 8:07. Conley on assignment, so that means we'll have some vintage Conley. And we'll also check in with the Mackenzie Business Association coming up later. Before that, we got news.
Yeah, we'll have these stories coming up in just a couple of minutes. Contrary to the usual memes, apparently marijuana edibles can be bad for your health. We'll have the details there. We'll also take a look at Eugene City Hall. Oh, what a long and rocky ride it's going to be. Also, if you have a boat and you'd like to get it safety checked, I'll tell you a free way that you can get that done. Those stories and more are coming up, brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones here on KPNW.
News Time 8:07.
Burrito Amigos really does do things differently. Hi, I'm Bill London, bacon addict. One of the first things I noticed about Burrito Amigos bacon burritos is that they use not one, but two types of bacon. Nicely played, burrito friends. Their beef, not the usual cheap cuts, cooked forever to make it sort of tender except for the surprise gristle wads. Burrito Amigos uses real certified tender black Angus beef, the kinds you find at expensive steakhouses. That's different. The fish burritos, real cod. The taco salad's huge. Burrito Amigos menu is even different. You'll find your favorite burritos, enchiladas, tamales, and quesadillas there, but where else are you going to find yummy tacos made with yams and a spicy guacamole sauce that's different from anything you've ever tried? They even have potato tacos, which are delicious. How many burrito places even have a vegetarian menu, let alone tofu items? Burrito Amigos, happy to be different. In Eugene and Springfield, I'm Bill London, happy to vouch for the bacon and the yummy tacos.
Hi, this is Mike Clark, and I'm running for Eugene mayor. I'm running because I believe that we need a subtle change in leadership in city government, a course correction of sorts. There are many things that we've done in the last few years that are successful, but there are several big decisions, generational decisions really, that we're going to make over the course of the next couple of years, and we need to make them well. We're going to decide together what manner of thing we'll build on our riverfront. We're going to decide together what our new city hall will be like. We're going to decide perhaps how we finally effectively deal with homelessness in our community. These and so many other issues require someone with the experience of understanding how we got here. I believe I can help. With 10 years of experience on the City Council, I know how to bring common sense, practical solutions to these big questions. If you, like me, feel we need a subtle change, then please vote for me for Eugene Mayor by May 17th.
Authorized and paid for by friends of Mike Clark.
This is News Radio 1120 KPNW. And we've got the local story in the morning wake-up call.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed, locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. Well, the mess that is Eugene's future city hall just continues to get messier. The project hasn't even broke ground yet, but it's already cost the city over $4.7 million in actual cash payments and is going to cost another $1.5 million before a shovel ever even touches dirt. While the cost overruns in demolition and engineering fees have residents scratching their heads, a new blow-up has occurred between a city councilor and the city administrator. Now, outgoing Councilor George Brown penned an op-ed critical of the skyrocketing costs of the City Hall's projected final cost and the city manager's secret unilateral decision to upgrade the design of the City Hall without telling any of the city councilors. Now, that decision pushed the project well beyond its City Council authorized budget. In an email, City Manager John Reese admitted that that wasn't a good decision that he made, but when quizzed why he kept the decision a secret for over a year at a City Council meeting, Reese said that there was no particular reason. The City Council will make a decision this summer on whether to continue with the ever-increasing costs and additions to Eugene's yet unbuilt City Hall. Two men are lucky to be alive after they were thrown into the McKenzie River after their aluminum boat capsized. A quick-thinking resident saw the near disaster and called 911 to alert rescuers. It happened upstream from Riverbend Hospital. Authorities say both men were wearing life jackets. They were able to make it to shore. Search and rescue teams arrived to aid them. They say the boat hit a tree that was sticking out of the water, and the boat initially flipped, and then it sunk. The Lane County Sheriff's Office is partnering with Bi-Mart again this year to offer free boat inspections.
Deputies are going to be looking for things like personal flotation devices or life jackets on the boat, navigation lights if they're going to be using their boat in the evening time, sound devices, fire extinguishers if they're required, checking for backfire flame arresters and ventilation fans for motorized boats that have inboard engines. talking about voter education cards and how people can get those.
Now, that's coming up this Saturday at the Bi-Mart in Cottage Grove. There'll be other events that will be coming up at other stores and in the coming weeks. Norovirus may be back at the University of Oregon. The nasty, short-duration virus causes symptoms mimicking food poisoning, like violent vomiting, diarrhea, nausea, and stomach cramps. At least 34 students have exhibited symptoms. The university is working with Lane Public Health to investigate the suspected outbreak. The university said additional cleaning measures are being taken in high-traffic areas. They're also suggesting that people need to be washing their hands thoroughly and more frequently. The bug, by the way, is highly contagious. Presumptive Republican nominee Donald Trump went on the record last night with Greta Van Susteren, where he discussed the goal for his meeting today with House Speaker Paul Ryan and Republican Chairman Reince Priebus.
I think just unity, and, we'll see how it goes, and I think it'll go well. Paul is a good person. I don't know Paul well, and I think it's part of the meeting we have to get to know. Don't forget, he knew everybody else because they're governors, they're senators. I am a businessman, and I think we want to get to know each other. I think we want to see if we have the same ideas, because I represent a large group of people with very strong ideas and foundations, and I think we want to see a little bit about that. And hopefully it'll work out. We're going to have a very successful campaign. The polls have been, through the roof. In fact, I guess over the last 3 days, they've gone up amazingly. I'm now winning in Ohio and winning in a lot of places. So it's been a very interesting week.
Can you have unity with Speaker Ryan when you have differences on immigration and entitlements, which are very important topics to the Republican Party and to the rest of the nation? And I think probably he thinks you should probably tone it down a bit on your language.
I think you can. I mean, we can always have differences. No matter what you have, you're going to have differences. If you agree on 70%, that's always a lot.
The billionaire business mogul, on the record with Greta Van Susteren, says that regardless of how his meeting with Ryan and Priebus goes, he believes he can unite the party in general. As Oregon develops its rules for edible products containing marijuana, Brad Ford reports a lawsuit in Colorado is seeking to change the way the industry works.
A wrongful death lawsuit is being filed against a Colorado marijuana edibles company, alleging the company didn't warn of the effects of the company's product. The Denver Post reports Richard Kirk ate a Tootsie Roll-sized edible that contained 10 servings of THC. His wife called 911, reporting that he was ranting about the end of the world and climbing in and out of windows. He then shot and killed his wife with their 3 young children in the home at the time. Kirk's attorney says they want to require the industry to warn consumers of the effects and dosages for edibles, which have a delayed and stronger effect than smoking marijuana. Brad Ford, KPNW.
A proposal for Nestle to build a water bottling plant in Cascade Locks is set to be one of the most heated battles in the state's May 17th primary. Measure 1455 asked the voters of surrounding Hood River County to ban the commercial production and transport of bottled water. Nestle says the operation would generate 50 jobs and annual revenues of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Town leaders and a few residents want it. Others are fiercely opposed. The plans divided the town in the Columbia River Gorge, which has a 19% unemployment rate. It means that Cascade Locks could face a bigger dilemma of generating income without spoiling the jaw-dropping Columbia River Gorge scenery that makes it special. One of the defendants involved in the armed takeover of an Oregon wildlife refuge has been allowed to represent himself in the case. U.S. District Judge Anna Brown allowed Jason Patrick to be his own lawyer yesterday, but not without questioning his ability to act appropriately without legal counsel guiding him. The judge appointed Andrew Colmetz to be his standby attorney. In previous court appearances, Patrick had been scolded for making outbursts and speaking out of turn. The roofer from Georgia is now the third co-defendant in the case to represent himself. A request from a fourth defendant, Dwayne Emmer, is pending. State of Oregon has broken a record. According to the Portland Business Journal, Oregon brought in $10.6 million, make that billion dollars in tourism money last year. Travel Oregon said that success came from the 7 Wonders of Oregon campaign featuring the state's scenic landscapes.
Due to its success, the group launched a new campaign, the catchy "We Like It Here." According to Travel Oregon, the state brought $10.3 billion into the state in 2014, the first time that it's reached more than $10 billion. A passenger who authorities say forced an Alaska Airlines flight to be diverted after he didn't get beer has pleaded not guilty in Portland to a charge of interfering with a flight crew. A federal indictment unsealed Tuesday says 32-year-old Luke Watts of Portland threatened to become violent if flight attendants didn't serve him a beer during his March flight from Sacramento to Seattle. Assistant U.S. Attorney Benjamin Tolkoff says Watts then locked himself in the bathroom and screamed and pounded on the door and also demanded hugs from flight attendants. Concerned about the potential for violence, the pilot decided to land in Portland. U.S. Magistrate Judge John Acosta allowed Watts to remain free while awaiting trial. Oregon Congressman Earl Blumenauer is doubling down on efforts to fight the abuse of prescription painkillers and the epidemic of overdose deaths. Brad Ford reports.
On the House floor, Congressman Earl Blumenauer said prescriptions for pain management are rising without easy or effective ways to dispose of leftover medication. Flushing them has environmental costs, and
leaving it in the medicine cabinet is how many people find drugs to abuse.
He introduced a measure to expand drug disposal and take-back programs.
We're proposing the Safe Drug Disposal Tax Credit.
The tax credit would allow DEA-qualified pharmacies, care facilities, and treatment centers to help pay the costs of starting and maintaining programs. He also plans to offer an amendment to another House bill to allow those programs to qualify for grants from the Department of Justice. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
It's estimated that over 2 million people in the U.S. are hooked on prescription opioid painkillers last year. It's estimated that 20,000 people died from overdoses. Well, Green Hill Humane Society is celebrating their annual Bark in the Park fundraiser this Sunday, but one local group is less than celebratory. That group is No Kill Lane County. They're planning what they're calling a peaceful and quiet protest.
To let them know what's really going on at Green Hill and what their donations and taxpayer dollars are really supporting.
Tamara Barnes of No Kill Lane County questions the bookkeeping for last year's Bark in the Park.
Last year's Bark in the Park, Green Hill posted that they raised $86,000, but when compared to their IRS 990, they said it was only $65,000.
The fight between Green Hill and No Kill Lane County has been going on for years. Tensions have been building since it was announced that Green Hill would take over the Lane County Animal Shelter in June of 2012. It's 8:20. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
A lot of happy Golden State fans last night at Oracle Arena. First, the preseason celebration, or the pre-game celebration for Steph Curry, and yet another MVP trophy with an awkward NBA commissioner in Adam Silver. Then the MVP went to work, along with Klay Thompson. The Portland Trailblazers started off great, again, pretty much in control of the first half, but as has been the trend, Warriors put the game into overdrive in the fourth. Klay Thompson didn't score, but he'd already done his damage. 33 points on 6 threes. Playing pretty good defense on Damian Lillard, although Lillard got 28 on 7 of 24 shooting. Warriors move on, winning 125-121. So many arguments could it be, and have already been had, about Terry Stotts maybe, should have been, could have been your coach of the year. He was a runner-up to Steve Kerr. He might not bring it up, but his agent sure will when they had their contract extension chat. Expect a long-term deal with plenty of zeros. In Toronto, DeMar DeRozan and the Toronto Raptors take out the Miami Heat, take a 3-2 series lead. Baseball's big story last night, the Washington Nationals pitcher Max Scherzer, 20 strikeout performance against the Detroit Tigers. He didn't walk a batter, allowed 6 hits, and got his 4th win of the year. Nats win barely, 3-2. Civil War baseball happening in Corvallis starting tomorrow, and both teams, the Beavers and Ducks, not having the year that they were expecting, and both at one time in the top 10, but not now. Beavers and the Ducks are both a part of a 5-way tie for 5th at 10 and 11. Can you believe that? There are 3 weekends left in the regular season, and a lot can happen. Game 1 tomorrow, a 3-game series up there at Goss. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW, brought to you by Max Muscle, where you can get a free nutrition consultation from a certified nutritionist. On Franklin across from Market of Choice, news time 8:22.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes or you're already out and about, we do have some light fog off and on out there. Otherwise, mostly clear skies. Temps right now are in the upper 40s to low 50s with light winds out of the south at 5 to 10. This afternoon, the high pressure that's given us sunny skies and warm temps looks to continue to dominate across the region. It's going to be another warm one with highs in the mid-80s to a couple of low 90s out there. This afternoon, winds will shift to the northwest at 5 to 10 with a few gusts up to 15. Now, the sunny warm weather looks to continue till Friday afternoon as the high pressure will finally start to pull away to the east, allowing a powerful storm system to move up the coast, bringing a 60% chance of isolated showers and thunderstorms Friday night and knocking the highs down 20 degrees back into the 60s for the weekend with a 70% chance of showers off and on throughout the entire day on Saturday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation, the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
This winter, we received more rainfall than in the past 75 years. Severe weather can cause damage to your home's foundation. Ramjack can fix that. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com.
CCB 146906. Is your body getting enough protein every day? Try Max Pro at Max Muscle. These protein shakes are packed with protein, very low carbs, and zero sugar. Chocolate malt, strawberry banana smoothie, blueberry, and more. Max Muscle. Try it before you buy it. Franklin Boulevard, across from the Market of Choice.
This is Bud Pierce, candidate for governor. I want to thank all the people who have supported me. My wife Selma and I are honored. We're near the end of the campaign and charges are flying. I want to be clear with you. As a doctor, I want everyone to have health care for their sake, but I've never backed Obamacare. It's shameful of Alan Alley to claim I have, but that's what desperate career politicians do. Unlike Alan Alley, I have never given to the Democratic machine known as the Democratic National Committee or chaired a group that sent out a voter guide endorsing 30 Democrats over Republicans, including Speaker Tina Kotek, one of the most liberal Portland legislators in our history. As a Marine, I always say what I mean, and I mean what I say. As an outsider, I promise to be fair but firm in moving our state government in a different direction. Less spending, more support to small business, better graduation rates, defending the Second Amendment, and more honesty with Oregonians. I ask for your support. Thank you.
Paid for by Bud Pierce for a better Oregon.
Words used in today's social networking go hand in hand with Umpqua ice cream.
I'm going to the table with this Umpqua ice cream. I'll follow you. LOL. You have ice cream all over your face. I want to see it.
Enjoy Rocky Road. Umpqua ice cream's flavor of the month.
Do a selfie. Look in your spoon. Hey, I'm upside down.
Umpqua ice cream, the original social network. Share the flavor at umpquadairy.com.
Hi, I'm Carl Deichler, the CEO of Beachbody, and I'm here to tell you about an amazing new way you can start losing weight for free right now. You've probably seen our workout DVDs on TV like P90X, Insanity, and 21 Day Fix. We just launched a beta trial of our new digital video platform, Beachbody On Demand. So while we're testing out this new digital video service, I'm inviting you to use it for free for 30 days. That means you can lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, even 30 pounds without paying a dime. Just text the word trial to 313131 and you can do 30 days of P90X, Insanity, or any of over 400 workouts for free. Now here's the catch. In return, all I ask is you let us know what you think of the service so we can make Beachbody On Demand the best fitness and weight loss site ever created. Just text trial to 313131 and get started for free right now. Again, text trial to 313131.
Message and data rates may apply. Membership fees apply after 30-day trial. Cancel anytime.
It never rains when the wake-up call takes to the air. News Radio 1120 KPNW. $8:26. If you're checking out the stream from the Woodmer Brothers Studios, you're not going to see Gary Conley. He is on assignment, but we thought we'd play a vintage moment that maybe, perchance, you didn't get the first time. It's a little encore presentation of Gary Conley here on the wake-up call at 8:27 now.
So you sent this article, and you said, let's talk about Mexico. And my first thought was, okay, why? And he said, just read the article. So he sent this article. I had no concept, an idea. And I think most people probably would be shocked to find out that Mexico has the 11th highest GDP in the world based on purchasing power parity. I mean, that's huge.
It is.
And I think most people sit there and look at Mexico and say, oh, you mean our third world cousin to the south?
Yeah.
And that's not all based on, by the way, illegal drug activity. It's
based on a lot of history, but things have.
But it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's the 2 or 3 decades downstream. One of the downstream consequences or results of NAFTA. Yeah, exactly. So Mexico is the 11th largest economy according to the International Monetary Fund, and that puts them right between
the UK and Italy.
Exactly. Yeah, and the way things are going in Europe, it won't be very much longer probably until Mexico is one of the top 10 economies in the world.
Shocking. So let's go ahead and let's discuss that a little bit. Where were they standing prior to NAFTA? What were we looking at in terms of Mexico prior to NAFTA?
You know, I don't know what the answer to that is. But if you looked at them 20 or 25 years ago, it basically was a commodity exporting country, oil. Mm-hmm. And, since NAFTA, what's happened is because of the, vast differences in, labor costs and so on and so forth, a lot of manufacturing's moved down there, and the country's really developing quite quickly. One of the things that is true on both sides of the border, and that is that we tend to look at Mexico as if all of Mexico was like the borderlands, was like the war zone along the border. Mm-hmm. And that's really the same thing as if you went down there and, spent some time along the border and then said, oh, well, this is representative of all of the United States. I mean, it really isn't. So, we've got this long history with the Mexicans. We've got this flow of people back and forth, and we tend to look at them as or at the country as a corrupt, crime-ridden, drug-ridden, bunch of poor people, third world country who are trying to get across and, come and destroy the United States. I mean, so that's sort of vintage Donald Trump at this point. The reality is if you looked at the economy, it's possible the Mexicans could actually afford to build the wall.
For a second there, when you said, that they're coming across the border and everything else, I thought you were talking about Californians coming into Oregon. Just for a second, I was, you mean Californians coming into Oregon? No,
the problem with Californians now is they're not going to Oregon. They're going, they're going to Texas. Yeah. So anyway, Texans don't like that either. But that's all. So. But that really isn't, what Mexico looks like at this point. I mean, it's got an emerging middle class and lots of problems.
So then why, the question would be then, okay, why then are so many Hispanics coming across the border into the United States for, let's call it what it is, a lot of them are these very menial jobs. Is it because they don't have the skills to get a job in their own country?
The reality is that the flow is about even at this point. There's many people going back to Mexico for the opportunities as there are coming here. And my understanding is, without having any true knowledge of it, is a lot of the Hispanic immigrants that we've got now are the people from the really much poorer countries that are south of the Mexicans' southern border. Places like Honduras, which is absolutely horrible, Guatemala, etc. I couldn't go to the blackboard and prove that, but the Mexicans actually have some immigration problem of their own. It's on the south, from their southern border. But if you look at Mexico as an economy, for example, it's the world's largest car manufacturer is down there. Their economy is 32% exports. Ours is a really small amount of that. 80% of the 32% of exports come to this country. Now, that's a lot more dangerous for their economy than it is for ours, because it's 80% of 32%, whatever that works out, 20-something. Based on our economy, it's 0.2%. So if the U.S. gets a cold, then Mexico gets pneumonia. So that's one piece of it. The other thing is that if you followed Mexico for very long, you also know there's a history of inflations and currency collapses down there. And yet the growth rate in the Mexican economy at this point maybe is 2.5–3%, which is what it's supposed to be here, although the last measurements show us below a single digit, some 0.1% maybe for the last couple of quarters. You've got actually a fairly stiff central bank down there. The equivalent of Yellen is a guy named Carstens, and he got tired of waiting for the U.S. to raise interest rates and just raised interest rates on 50 basis points, and caused a bit of a rally in the peso, actually. So, if you were going to invest in Mexico, you've got problems in terms of currencies. You've got, social problems down there, just like in different ones, but in the same ways we have here. But you have, it's very different than most of us have a tendency to think of it. And in some ways, very different than many of the Mexicans have a tendency to think of it, too.
For a person so for the average guy and gal sitting there, it's like, okay, so is there, what's the takeaway for the average person?
Well, let's zoom out a little bit and think about investments if you want to have some that are outside of the United States in emerging markets or semi-emerging markets. And if you zoom out and take a 50,000-foot view, the reality is the island of stability in the world right now is North America. I mean, if you look at what's going on in Europe, in Asia, let alone the Middle East, in some cases, other parts of South America. So, and that's the reason that, in China too, and so that's the reason that capital's flowing in here. But there's also a lot of American capital and investment that's flowing into Mexico, a lot more than you would suggest. So if you look at North America as an island of stability and you wanted to have some investments outside of the United States, then you essentially have got Mexico and Canada. The Canadians have a housing bubble going on now. Their banks are probably going to be under pressure. The currency's under pressure up there because it's basically a commodity exporting country in a lot of ways.
Coal, timber,
oil, so on and so forth, natural gas.
Sure.
I think the takeaway for the average guy is if you want to have some investments, and it's probably not a good idea, or it probably is a good idea over time offshore, the first two places you'd look would be not very far away, would be Canada and Mexico, and watch those over time. You've got problems with currency translations because the currencies fluctuate, both the Canadian dollar and the Mexican peso. But the reality is that there, may well be, or there will be over time, I think, some opportunities in Mexico. I don't know what they're going to be at this point, but I think it's something that's, certainly worth learning about. And
okay, well, where does a person go to learn that kind of stuff?
Well, I think the first thing that you do is you can just Google up Mexican companies and see what's going on there. A lot of those companies are still owned by the state, but they're in the process of spinning them off or allowing outside investment. Mm-hmm. You can look at infrastructure companies like Cemex, which is the cement company, which is actually the biggest one in the world. You would look at banks. In the old days, you would look at breweries, but that's been pretty well consolidated now, internationally now, as we've talked about before. Or you would just simply look for an ETF or a mutual fund that concentrates in Mexico and find one with a good relative record and a portfolio manager that's been around a while. Would be one way to do it. Then the second thing, which is as important as anything else, is timing. And, is this a good time to do that? I don't know. Partly it depends on what your view of inflation is and what your view of the economy here is, because there's no question that the Mexican economy is very much tied to the one in the United States. I mean, they're a big car exporter. We import more cars from Mexico than any place else. They're just not made under Mexican brands. But something that that's not intuitively obvious is that you've got 40% of the content of those Mexican cars, or the parts, are actually made here and exported before they're re-imported. So we're whether you like it or not, or whatever your view is, we're very much tied together.
All right. Gary Connolly of Connolly Capital on the Wake Up Call.
8:38, News Radio 1120 KPNW.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are extending Wednesday's losses. The Dow down 53 points, the Nasdaq down 41, and the S&P down 8, as Wall Street worries about consumer spending. Portfolio manager Chad Morganlander at Stifel.
I think there's a general concern that the consumer here in the United States is starting to decelerate their rate of purchases. You saw that yesterday within the trade on retailers.
And that trade continues today after coal sales came in way worse than expected, falling 4% in the last quarter when they had been expected to rise a little. The news from Kohl's comes after Macy's reported its worst sales since the recession. Shares plunged 15% yesterday. Right now they're sliding 3%. The middle class keeps on shrinking. The Pew Research Center says the number of households in the middle class fell from 55% in 2000 to 51% in 2014 in most of the nation's cities. I'm Adrienne Mitchell, Bloomberg Radio.
Pacific Continental Bank is proud to call the Eugene-Springfield area home for more than 40 years. As your local banker, partner, and neighbor, we are committed to the health and sustainability of your business and our community. We know it takes more than a loan or deposit to help you succeed. It takes people who know you, your business, and your community. Who says we can't be more than a bank? Pacific Continental Bank, the right bank. Learn more at therightbank.com. Member FDIC.
The best real estate market in a decade. Less homes for sale, coupled with low interest rates, get you the top dollar for your house in today's market.
So if you have to sell so that you can buy and you don't want to be without a place, you need to call Eric and Jeanette Harpole with Keller Williams Realty. Really, they're expert negotiators. They specialize in working with their clients that need to sell so they can buy their next home. And if you want to sell within your time frame and get the most money possible, these are the folks.
Obviously, you know that not all agents are the same. In fact, Eric, Jeanette, and their team outsell all other agents in Lane County. The reason? Better marketing, top-notch negotiating, their exclusive enhanced listing program, and unlike other agents, they offer flexible commissions. Hey, if you're not happy, fire them. You are in control.
You can get free information about selling your house this spring or summer. Give them a call, 541-286-3030. That's 541-286-3030. Or just go to harpolehomes.com in Lane or Douglas County.
Hi, this is Erin. Do you have a graduate this year or maybe a loved one getting married? At Chapala, we want to help you make your most special event stress-free. Fancy or casual, indoor or out, we've got you covered. Chapala's catering will leave your guests satisfied and your pocketbook happy. If full catering is not what you need, we offer tasty party platters that are crowd pleasers. With 2 convenient locations, 29th of Willamette and Oakway Center, Chapala's Catering.
Chapala Mexican Restaurant. So good.
Message and data rates may apply.
Hey guys, ever wonder why getting into shape isn't as easy as it was when you were 25? Well, it's not your fault, it's Mother Nature's. Because once you hit 45, your body has less youth-boosting free testosterone, and that can make it harder to get into shape. That's why you need Nugenix. Nugenix is a unique man-boosting formula powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help boost your free testosterone levels. Nugenix helps you feel stronger and more energetic, more passionate too. Get a complimentary bottle now by texting STRONG to 99000. Nugenix is so effective it won GNC's Innovative Product of the Year and was also named GNC's #1 selling men's vitality product. Get yourself back into shape and be more of the man you want to be with award-winning Nugenix. Nugenix is available at many fine retailers, but you can only get your complimentary bottle by texting STRONG to 99000. Again, text STRONG to 99000.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. We are tracking some fog off and on out there. Fairly thick on the coast, lighter here in the valley, but I expect that to burn off by 10 a.m. Otherwise, mostly clear skies above that fog. We do have temps right now in the upper 40s to low 50s with winds out of the south at 5 to 10. The high pressure that's given us several nice days looks to continue today as the core goes directly over western Oregon. That means the temps will be in the mid-80s to a couple of low 90s down in the southern half of the valley. Mostly clear skies will continue, and the winds will shift to the northwest at 5 to 10 with a few gusts up to 15. Now, the high pressure that's brought this sunny, warm weather looks to continue through Friday afternoon, but once we get late in the day, the high pressure will slide off to the east, allowing a powerful and potent storm system to move in from the southwest. We have a 60% chance of isolated showers and thunderstorms late in the evening on Friday, with a 70% chance of showers off and on throughout the entire day on Saturday. And it's worth noting that temps will be 20 degrees cooler this weekend, with highs back in the mid-60s and mostly cloudy skies right through your weekend. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation, the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day out there.
Whoop-dee-doo, whoop-dee-doo. I hear a polka and my troubles are through.
That concludes the musical portion of our program. And now, ladies and gentlemen,
The Wake Up Call with Holloway and London on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
News Radio 1120 KPNW. It's 8:44. If you haven't heard of the Mackenzie Business Association, well, guess what? You're going to. Joining us from the MBA is George Bosch. He's an escrow officer from Evergreen Land Title Company. Paul Vanderplaat is with Stepping Stone Mortgage. He's a broker and owner there, and we're going to talk about the Mackenzie Business Association. And gentlemen, thanks for joining us, both of you. We appreciate it this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for the invitation.
Thank you.
Okay, so who's been in it the longest?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Paul Vanderplaat with Stepping Stone Mortgage.
Okay. And you've been with it for how long?
15 years.
Okay. So you probably understand it as well as anybody. What exactly is the Mackenzie Business Association?
Mackenzie Business Association is a business group, more like a leads or a networking group of different businesses that come together once a week to talk about their businesses and exchange information about their businesses and leads as far as business together.
George, for folks that don't know what a leads group is, why don't you kind of explain it?
Well, basically, it's going to be a place where you're able to share your experiences with the members that you have been dealing with, and have an opportunity to provide leads to or business opportunities to someone that is looking for a specific service that someone in the group can provide.
How many folks are a part of the Mackenzie Business Association?
I think the membership is around 40 right now, 40 people. And of those, probably about 34, 35 are pretty active in the group.
And talk about kind of the different occupational categories that people hold.
So we've got anywhere from doctors to dentists to bookkeeping, obviously mortgage and escrow, real estate agents, veterinarians, auto repair. Body repair.
No ballet company, so?
Oh, yeah. Yes, actually, we just got a ballet company. What? Ballet Fantastique. Yeah. Just say it like the French. I don't know how to say it.
croissant.
But yeah, that was kind of unusual, but she is a fantastic member and fun to be around.
So I take it then when you need a ballet, you contact her.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And she has an upcoming show that's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
So if you were an unrepresented occupational, category, how would you go about joining the group?
What you would do is you would contact the executive officer, which is Mickey Waters, and come to be a guest at the breakfast meeting, which is on Tuesday mornings at 6:45, and then come and meet people at the group, kind of get a feel for what the group is like and what they do and philosophies and all that. And you can be a guest for at least up to 3 times, I believe, and see if it's something that's a good fit for you or not.
Talk about, Paul, if you could talk about the benefit. 15 years, you obviously have, gleaned something from it. What, as you look over 15 years and you and your business and your personal affairs, what have you gained from your membership?
First of all, I've gained business, but I've also gained friendships. George and I are good friends. I have other friends in the group, but also businesses that I can trust and that I can use for myself and for my family and friends, that if I need something, I typically have somebody that I can call, and if they can't do it, they have somebody that they know that may not even be in the group, but there's that transfer of trust that I go, okay, I trust that person because I know the person's that is referring them. So that's been the biggest thing for me, and it's just a fun group to be a part of.
George, what about for you?
Yeah.
Well, Evergreen Land Title's been in the business in the group for I think close to 24, 25 years, and so what I like about it is that relationship building that occurs. You're able to trust the person that's across the table from you, and it's low key. It's not a high pressure situation where you're expected to be providing a lead every single week to every single person. Life happens and things happen. You have to decide, where to direct your business. I'd rather direct it to somebody that I know and that I trust. And one of the fun things is knowing that you've got 34 other people, 40 other people that are acting as salesmen in essence for your company. And so if they hear of someone that needs some kind of a service, they're able to relay your company and name to that person and perhaps share their experience with whichever industry it is that's represented.
So can anybody just join this? Is there some sort? Do you have to be? Is there like a jury that sits there and goes, I don't know about this guy. No, I don't know. How is that a?
I think within reason anyone could join. The issue is whether or not they have a good reputation in the community. I don't want to have
who judges that, whether they have a good
the board of directors, and so you would fill out an application, and then that would be discussed. Does anyone know anything good or bad about the person? Has there been any complaints for Better Business Bureau, that kind of stuff, to get a feel for it, and we'll ask around and see whether or not this person is honest and forthright and is reliable to do the work that they're purporting to do.
So there's actually a certain amount of vetting that goes through before anybody can just join.
Right. Yeah. Would you let someone into your house without knowing anything about them?
Absolutely not.
All right, there you go. So same thing. It's where we want to be a help to the community, but at the same time, we don't want to affiliate ourselves with someone that is not helpful or is not honest and forthright.
Are there any certain types of I'll just say, are there any certain types of business sectors that you just don't even bother?
No, I don't think so. There's about 100 categories from what I remember on the list, and really we're scratching the surface as to how many people are or how many types of businesses are in there.
Well, at least you're able to tick off you have ballet now, because that was one on the list. I'm sure that you guys were trying to.
Yeah, I think the next one might be speech therapy, because I can't say the word
fantastique.
Fantastique.
Yeah, I don't know.
Try croissant. A small French word.
Right.
Is there any events coming up that people can?
Yes, actually, the next event that we're doing is working on a project for Habitat for Humanity, which actually this Saturday. So a lot of the members will be out there just helping out. So that's the other part of the group, is that they do a lot of activities involved in the community as well. So just gets us out there and helping out.
You said there. Where are they going to be on Saturday?
And where's there?
I'm
It's
not
off-
sure the actual location,
I
but
think
if-
it's off
if-
Royal Avenue.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
So it's more.
It's a super secret house that you're working
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can't tell everything about.
Yeah, but would be happy to let anyone know if they want to call either Stepping Stone Mortgage or Evergreen Land Title and ask for Paul or George, and we'll be happy to let them know where it's at if they want to attend and help out.
Now, you mentioned that there was somebody there that had been there for 27 years or something like that?
About that,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Actually,
How
longer.
long has the Mackenzie Business Association been around?
74?
1974. Yeah.
So it's been there for a while.
Yeah.
A long time. Yeah.
And we don't discriminate just because we're in the Springfield Hilton
Right.
Gardens Inn. We have certainly businesses from the Eugene area too. We like Eugenians just as much as Springfieldians, if that's the right word.
Yeah.
Do you like Cottage Grovians and Cresswellians?
Oh
as
yes,
well?
absolutely.
We have people from Cresswell and Cottage Grove in the group, so yeah, it doesn't matter.
Information. Where can people get it? Facebook or a website?
Website mbaleads.com, I believe, is our website, and you can go on there and get lots of information. And then if you want more information, give one of the members a call, or you can call the executive officer, Mickey Waters.
Yep, at the Mackenzie Business Association at 541-914-5256. See, I was prepared for that.
Good job.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And we meet at the Hilton Gardens Inn, Gateway at 6:45 on Tuesday mornings.
All right.
We welcome you to come.
So early.
It is.
Oh yeah,
Man.
but the coffee's good.
Yep. And breakfast is good, too.
Yeah. And the Hilton Gardens does a good job of keeping us happy.
George, Paul, is there anything that you wanted to talk about that you didn't get a chance to throw in there, or did we get it pretty much covered?
No, I think we did a
I
good
think
job.
we pretty much covered.
You were fantastic. Get it? Fantastic.
All right. As the Mackenzie Business Association, and that's going to do it for us. We are done. Just enough time to say au revoir, and we'll see you tomorrow, 6:05, getting ready for Shred Fest happening tomorrow. Walmart Green Acres from 4 to 6 to benefit Honor Flight with iSecure. That's again tomorrow. We'll talk about it. Have a great Thursday.
I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Chris with Home Comfort. When we say the one to call,
The one means no matter what the problem.
from security lighting, generator systems, panel changeouts, service upgrades, with technicians available 24/7.
Or HVAC, from routine cleanings to breakdowns. Home Comfort's an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. So our highly skilled technicians will ready your house for any season.
Make one call to 541-345-2838.
Home Comfort, the one to call.
Sid Lycan knows how to overcome challenges and find the solutions.
He just has such a heart for the community and for people.
We need someone who can come in on day one and take charge.
Sid has a small business background, and he understands what has to happen to move the economy forward.
He's been extremely effective locally, first as a mayor, then as a county commissioner.
He brought over $1 billion worth of private sector money.
Better economy for the citizens in our community, and it gave them the hope that they could raise a family.
When I was first elected to the Lane County Board of Commissioners, we streamlined. We went from 14 departments to 9. We went from 7 separate health care plans to 2. We've been able to save millions of dollars on an annual basis because of that.
I proudly support.
And I stand proudly behind Sid Lycan.
Sid Lycan.
Sid Lycan for Secretary of State.
I'm Sid Lycan, and I'm running to be your next Secretary of State, and I need your support. Thanks.
Paid for and authorized by Sid Lycan for Oregon.
Mud season's over. It's time to clean the area rug. And that professional deep clean will never be more affordable than today. That's because the 20% off May cleaning special is going on now at Atia Brothers. No one else gets a rug cleaner because no one else has the equipment, experience, and expertise you'll find at Atia Brothers. And with savings of 20%, the best clean in town just got even better. Say goodbye to dirt. Say hello to a cleaner, safer home. Visit AtiaBros.com for more details.
This is your wake-up call.
It's like no cheese I've ever tasted.
News Radio 1120, KPNW.
The following is an incredible, life-changing free offer for anyone with hearing problems who wants to start hearing everything more clearly again. We're now offering free in-home trials of a revolutionary hearing breakthrough called Listen Clear to anyone who calls this special toll-free number now. 1-800-300-1448. Call in the next 10 minutes and you'll also qualify for free shipping and free batteries for life. Listen Clear is precisely designed by top audio engineers. It adjusts to let you find the perfect way to hear everything, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And Listen Clear is so invisible, people may not even know you're wearing it. And it's so lightweight, you may even forget you're wearing it too. Don't miss this special life-changing